these two individuals will be having a debate.
Go
It'll be
imagine.
great, uh, or not. I don't know. We'll find out. But first of all, welcome to my audience. Thanks for being here, every single one of you. Yeah, so we're gonna have this flat Earth debate between these two individuals here. Um, First, I will introduce Katarana, who most of my audience should be familiar with, who oftentimes appears on many of my other shows and stuff. She's fantastic, great, and guess what? She's like an actual factual physicist. So, great person to be
I'll
on
fix it.
the pro. I was all right. I'm not going to say anything. But great person to be on this debate. So I'll leave it at that. Katran, you want to say anything?
Yes, hello. I'm Katarana. I am, yes, a physicist. My thesis is on microgravity's effects on the human heart, as well as I am the president of an organization in which we build rockets, satellites, rovers made for Mars, and do health research for space. Um, so, a lot of
What is your thesis?
um, microgravity's effect on the human heart.
Okay, pretty interesting.
This is gonna be great. I can tell already.
Okay.
And that's me. Oh, and I am a glober. I'm a globe head.
You're a globe head. Okay,
Yeah.
wonderful. uh, Next, Travis. Travis, tell us about yourself.
Pain.
Uh, I think the Earth is flat.
That's all you need to know.
That was
All
crazy.
right. Well, so
Intro 100.
we'll have that discussion now. I guess we'll do opening statements on this. Why, why you think this way, and then we'll just jump at it. Make sure you're not talking over each other. Just give each other the space to do these things, and then it'll be simple, right? This is not complicated. So I'll let Travis go first. Travis.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, 100%.
So basically, oh, one sec.
He's taking out the fucking notes, dog.
Okay.
Sorry,
Yeah.
sorry, my bad. Basically, water. If you pour water, like water conforms to the interior of containers. So if you pour water inside of a cup, it conforms to the inside the cup. If you pour water on the outside of a cup, it doesn't conform to the exterior of that cup. You can have water on the outside of something if there's something holding it there. Like, imagine like a snow globe with like a house in it. Like a snow globe with water in it, and there's a house inside the snow globe. There is water on the outside of that house, but it's because the water is conforming to the interior of that glass dome. But there is water on the outside of that house. So what you ballers would say is that
I don't want to confuse him
there's
with a cup
oceans
of
basically
water.
wrapped around the exterior of the Earth, and what you guys would say is, gravity is the force responsible for holding oceans to the outside of this ball. So what you guys actually believe is that there's a force responsible for holding millions of trillions of gallons of water to the exterior of a sphere that's spinning faster than the speed of sound. If that was the case, there was really this force responsible for holding oceans to the outside of a ball, your heart would not be able to pump blood throughout your body. We wouldn't be able to have this conversation. Nothing would be able to exist.
Okay. All right. Well then, Katrana.
My opening statement is that, but like, reverse it? No. Yeah, there isn't flat. I'm just gonna go ahead and go with retorts. I don't. I think there's enough things for most people to go ahead and retort, but I also don't want to gish gallop, as there are a gish gallop ability amount of things to go ahead and use as a retort. So I'm gonna try to be as rhetorically effective as possible and strictly answer things that are his arguments. So that's my opening.
Okay, well then jump at it.
Okay. So, in your circumstance, you believe that the Earth doesn't move. It's in a completely stationary mode, correct?
Sure.
Okay. So, in with that, I understand that in your thing you probably think that the Earth isn't like everything's rotating around the Earth. Um, could I have some form of further explanation though on how you believe things are remaining stationary? Like when we jump up, we are clearly
So,
pulled back down. So
so you don't have a rebuttal?
I'm trying to get to more of what you're saying before I rebut because I don't want to
Uh-huh.
give you more information than is necessary.
Yeah. So what are you trying to figure out?
Why do we
What do you want to know?
jump up and go back down? I'm just trying to figure out like what are your forces in
So you're
the universe
you're
first of
asking
all.
what is gravity?
What is your version of gravity? Because
Um,
I like read through some of your things initially, and I do know that you believe in gravity, but I don't entirely understand what exactly is your framework for it. So, what exactly is gravity?
all
Why
right.
is the ocean
Well,
in its
if
place,
uh-huh.
etc.?
Okay. So if you take like an iron anvil, for example, and drop it in water, it sinks. Take the same anvil, put it on liquid mercury, it floats. If you take a beach ball with air in it and you hold it underwater and then let go of it, the beach ball rushes back up. If you take like a helium balloon and let go of it, the helium balloon goes up. The helium is less dense than the air. The beach ball with air in it, that air is less dense than the water. The iron anvil is more dense than the water. It's less dense than the mercury.
Okay.
Density and buoyancy.
Okay. So, do you know about vacuums?
Yep.
So then, how come in vacuums, some of those things in which you just described are no longer applicable? Because the density is
Wait a
still
minute.
going to apply in those cases. Density is an
So,
intrinsic
so you're
component.
are you gonna address the water around a ball thing,
I'm
or
first trying to just understand, like, how do you go ahead and believe in which gravity works so that I can say, I can refute exactly
why
how it.
don't you tell me? Because I already presented like an argument.
Damn. Okay. So, gravity is not associated with density. Things intrinsically have density no matter what, but when you go ahead and move things into different environments outside of gravity, your density is still there. If, let's say, you leave the Earth's atmosphere, though I'm not entirely sure if you think it's capable to leave the Earth's atmosphere, you still have your mass, right? Because mass is just gravity. Density is just mass divided
Yeah,
by
we don't.
volume.
Yeah,
So you still
I
have
don't
density.
think
So
gravity creates density.
then, how is gravity exactly linked
No,
to
no, no. I
density?
already presented a question. I already had an argument.
Okay,
Are you gonna address it?
I'm just trying to understand
Uh
all of
huh.
your components because there's no point in gish galloping,
Yeah,
and
are
then
you
I'm really
gonna?
trying to
So, are you
avoid
gonna
gish
actually?
gallops.
Hold on, I'm gonna Travis. Are you gonna actually engage with her? Because she's asking questions to understand your
Yeah,
position, right? This
I
is
totally.
standard.
She already. Yeah,
Okay, so it's just like Andy
she
asking you
was going
standard
over the
questions.
argue. People think some people think gravity is what creates density, and that's I don't. That's what she was getting at.
No, but you said
No,
gravity is density and buoyancy, but now you're saying that gravity
No,
doesn't
that's
create.
not what I said. But things go up or down due to density and buoyancy. But uh, I don't feel like getting into what I actually believe gravity is.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, so I'm still just trying to figure out as to why, like, how exactly you think the whole ocean thing works, but it's fine. I can go ahead and explain. So there is a volume in which oceans are being contained in. It's called everything underneath the ocean. There is a ground. It's not just empty space there, and the ocean's not just floating above empty space. So the oceans are conforming to the volume of basically everything underneath it. So it is.
Yeah.
So it's doing
I
what
mean, that's even
liquids.
worse. But
Liquids are okay. So liquids conform to volumes. Um, and of course, let's say if you were in a microgravity condition, there is no reason why it would conform to that particular volume. If you're inside of the International Space Station, if I go ahead and pour out, water, just a bunch of drops, it's just going to stay in that particular form because there are no forces to act on it to really make it want to go into any particular shape. So it just kind of goes into whatever shape you want it to. And what it was originally ejected at is a circular water droplet. But on our planet, it's not just going to go ahead and just be a bunch of random water particles. Of course, there are water particles in the environment, but the reason why it conforms into this holistic body is due to the volume that is being given to it in conjunction with the gravity forces that are acting on it to actually keep it where it is. Um, I don't entirely understand your framework of gravity, but I also don't think oceans are particularly. Um, I don't
um,
see how oceans in your framework work as opposed to a globe Earth, because right now it seems like you're more like giving a gravity in the way that we understand it is wrong argument rather than the Earth is flat argument. Um, so I still
what?
feel like I need a little bit more information as to what is your proof that the Earth is flat and not that gravity is wrong as far as people
So
understand it.
what do you say? What do you mean when you say gravity conforms to volume?
I didn't say gravity conforms to volume. I said liquid conforms to volume. And the reason why the liquid is able to stay in the volume that it's at is because it's also having forces act on it, in which it causes it to stay at the point that it is.
So it's not conforming to volume. Something's making it conform.
Just like it does in a glass
A
of
force.
water.
Exactly. And what you believe is that there's oceans around, like a glass of water is the interior of like a container. It's not the exterior of a sphere. You're saying that water is conforming to the exterior of a sphere.
But it's
You
not
can't
conforming to
show me
the
water conforming
exterior of a sphere because let's say if you were to go ahead and excavate parts of the Atlantic shore, you go ahead to Florida, go to Miami Beach, push back all the sand, the ocean will also move accordingly. So it's not just conforming to this arbitrary shape, it's conforming to what is
no, no, no.
beneath it and containing it on both sides.
What you what you
But
believe is that there's no up or down.
this isn't a once again this isn't really a flat Earth debate. This is a
No, it
forces debate,
it
and
is
okay,
because it is because oceans cannot conform to the exterior of a sphere. You
but
can't show me that in nature.
that's why I said that it's not conforming to the exterior of a sphere. It's conforming to what is beneath it and what are on the sides, just like in a glass of water.
Why?
So
Why is it conforming to what's beneath it?
why do you pour a glass of water and it doesn't go through the bottom of your glass?
No. Why are oceans held to the floor? Like, why are they not going up? Something's holding it there, right?
Gravity.
Okay. So there's a force responsible for holding oceans to the exterior of a sphere, yet your heart can pump blood throughout your body. You can walk around. Oceans wrapped around a ball.
Okay,
Something's holding it there,
so
and your heart's pumping blood.
your body's a volume, correct? Like you take up space, yes? Like
Yeah.
you're not just a point mass. You're a person. So the reason why your blood is within your body is because you are a human, and as a human you have, you know,
walls,
arms.
and it's in the
Yes,
interior. It's
e-
conforming to the interior of your body, not the
exactly.
exterior.
Oh,
Okay.
I think maybe there's a semantic issue going on right now. Uh,
So, Katarana, what it seems to be, and please correct me if I'm wrong, Travis, because I don't want to misconstrue you. You're saying that um, from the round, the spherical model of the Earth, right,
Hmm.
requires a force of gravity to keep those oceans there, right, and from floating away, requires a force of gravity so strong
Ching, will
that it
you
would
fucking
pancake
stop?
the rest of us, right? Like, how could we even stand upright if, like, something as heavy as the oceans,
Exactly.
it conforms to the Earth,
The outside, yes, the
the
exterior.
outside? Okay, does that help you, Katrana, to understand?
Yeah, I believe so. Um, but like I'll just also summarize, but quicker, just to make sure I'm completely understanding. So you think that in the framework of gravity and how it's conforming to the volume of the ground and sand, etc. That if it's able to hold it down, then we should not be alive because we should just be kind of crushed.
Yep.
Okay. Um, do you know about well? There you can isolate things by elements. So let's say you go ahead and have one singular droplet of water. You can go ahead and calculate all the different forces acting on a singular drop of water. Then you can go ahead and expand it to several drops of water. But if you were to go ahead and get up like all the ocean, you could divide all the volume, and you would see that you can once again get back to that singular drop of water, in which that singular drop of water is only getting this little amount of force of it, which is its mass, which would be something in the micrograms, plus the forces, which are something in, I don't know, the millinewtons. Um, so we can go ahead and apply that same principle to us. We don't have the amount of volume, mass, etc., as the oceans do. We have what we have, which in most cases is under 200 kilograms. So, and also our volume is under
It's not
two cubic.
relevant.
That's exactly relevant because
Hmm.
forces don't because you're able to isolate things. The whole way that people are able to go ahead and do engineering and how they can expect, hey, where might something break, is because you can go ahead and isolate, hey, where is the most amount of stress or strain going to go ahead and act, and that's where we know something's going to shear, or that's how we know something's going to crack. You don't just say it's going to crack somewhere, and if you have a giant object, you're not just going to say, oh, I can't guess where it's going to crack. The thing's too big, so many forces, I don't know. You have to go ahead and be able to isolate things by elements. And that's exactly the way that this is working. Just like you can isolate to see technically what's the center of gravity, center of mass of the oceans, we can go ahead and do center of mass of humans, of different types of bodies, etc. So when you go ahead and add up, you know, the equations for gravity are F equals ma, and in our case, A is g, the gravity acceleration. We don't have the amount of mass that you know the oceans have. Thus, we don't have the same amount of force that the oceans have. So, just because it would crush this thing, like if we, of course, if we had the amount of force on ourselves as the oceans have on it, yeah, we'd be fucking toast. But with that, we don't have that amount of mass. So
So
that
you're
those
talking about
forces,
density and buoyancy right now.
I'm not talking about density at all, except for the fact that density is a component of which mass exists. But no, I'm not talking about density.
Yeah. Okay.
But if you say that in any case of which I speak about the word mass, it's automatically going to be density. Um, No,
Yeah.
because
So the thing
density is
is,
intrinsic
um,
to something, and mass is extrinsic. I can go ahead and cut off your arm, and you lose some of your mass, but your total density may stay the same. Um, it's an intrinsic quality versus an extrinsic quality, so they are not They are not the same.
okay, so the problem is, even if the Earth was like stationary, it's like this ball that isn't moving, uh, it's totally inconceivable that there's oceans held to the outside of it. And then you add in the fact that it's spinning faster than the speed of sound, the centrifugal force would be absolutely insane, especially at the equator. So, no, that whole argument of, well, there's less mass, so it's less
Okay.
gravity, yeah, it doesn't
So,
So
explain
so
how.
really, really quickly, just and I know it might be slightly moot to do, but centrifugal force is not actually a thing. It's a framework that we use for relativity. You're probably thinking of centripetal, and I know I'm being a little bit semantic, but centrifugal force is not what we are going to care about here. It would be centripetal. Um, so you could continue saying centrifugal. I just wanted to make the correction.
So I want to maybe help this along because I'm not sure. Uh, and maybe you are. Maybe you are trying to address it properly, but I want to make sure you both understand where the difference is here, at least as I see it. And again, please correct me if I'm getting things, if I'm misstating your arguments. Um, but for uh, Travis here, what he seems to be saying in his frame, his saying understanding of the spherical framework is that gravity acts on all of the ocean at the same time, right? So like to something like that, the ocean being so massive would simply float away, right? Without some sort of force pulling it down, right? So he's saying that rather than gravity acting on each individual atom, right, it's acting on the entire force of the ocean. And so if it was a had strength, the strength of force act on the entire force of the ocean at the same time, then everything else would also experience those same forces. Do you understand what I'm trying to say here, Katarana?
I
Or maybe
understand
you
what you're
already
trying to
The
maybe you
say,
already said that. Yeah.
but it's not. It's not a correct framework. Um, as in, we could all recognize that with the bottom of the ocean, or maybe we don't. So I don't want to assume anything. The bottom of the ocean does not have the same amount of force as the top parts of the ocean. As a result of everything that is above the bottom layer of the ocean is also compounding on it. So not only does it have gravity on it as a result of Earth's natural pull, it also has all the tons and tons of weight above it that is also pushing it down. Um, and once again, that all goes into the isolation of the elements. We know that this one has the most amount of force. We know this one has the least amount of force, and we're just going down layer by layer by layer. And the reason why we're able to know that we need to go layer by layer by layer is because we can go ahead and do isolation by layer. We can go ahead and decide how do we want to isolate things. Do we want it to isolate it by layer, by point volume, by point mass, by point volume, etc., etc. Um, and the, I don't entirely understand once again why it's necessarily related that um, if the oceans if the world is spherical, then and it's moving, that means like that's not possible. I just don't really entirely understand the correlation between the oceans to the inability for the earth to spin.
Because water conforms to the interior of containers, not the exterior. So you can't have water wrapped around the outside of something.
I think there's gonna be a couple of language things here going on, and I guess that might be the fun of it. But I'm not a big fan of knocking on nails that don't
All right,
move. Um,
let's just move on because there's actually nothing to say to that argument, but you're just like kind of like
No,
filibustering? There's
so
literally no response to that, like none.
so
So we
no.
can just move on to your evidence since you have so much of it.
Okay.
So where's the evidence of curvature?
Dollar,
Do you have any of that?
Okay, so give me one moment because I don't want that to be any form of perception that I want to move on as a result of me saying.
No, I want to move on.
No, hold on,
Okay.
Travis, hold on. She
Okay,
can
sorry.
speak. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, as for, and I just want to restate this, and if you don't agree, then you don't agree. But then once again, that comes to the baseline of then we're not speaking the same language, which I guess is fine. But we're gonna have to at least come to a common ground for this to be any form of effective. So, I did not say that the ocean is just floating around in the abyss, and I think it's just in the shape it is because it feels like it, and it just decided to go that way. So I'll go ahead and restate things, and I guess that could be technically my outro to oceans part. We can go ahead and do free body diagrams and figure out what exactly are all the forces acting on it. We know it's going to stay down. It's going to go ahead and sink as low as it's able to without normal forces before normal forces are able to go ahead and act on it. So it's not floating. There's a floor to the ocean. There's an ocean floor, and you also
I don't think it's.
understand.
I don't think it's floating.
Oh, I didn't say that you think it's floating. I'm saying you
Okay.
understand that there's an ocean floor. So there, we have the bottom part of our glass model, of which this is let's say the water's in a glass. We have the bottom part of the glass. Now, what are making up the sides, the walls of the glass? Yeah, like it's just expanding perpetually until it reaches land. Well, now we have the land. The bottom of the sea goes from the levels where it's at, which is like miles deep, or I don't think it's miles deep. It's quite deep. I don't want to say things that aren't necessarily true. So it's quite deep, and then as you get closer to land, it's no longer here. It goes like that, and it stops because the water no longer is able to pass that certain point. Those are your left and right ends to your glass. There's a bottom, there's sides,
Sea level?
and it's being sea level, and the fact that there's things keeping it from perpetually
water's
existing.
level? Uh-huh.
Hold on. So sea level, and the fact that there's something stopping it from perpetually expanding into perpetuity, is different than sea level. What I'm saying is that we have. It is true.
I mean,
you are
not
correct.
really.
Hold on. These are, please. So, there are. I agree with you. Water requires volume. Liquids require volume. Yes. That is why there is a volume given to it, of which is our floor and our beaches are part of what makes up the volume. So yes, you're correct. Good. Volume exists. Water needs volume, as all liquids do. But you're not thinking about the fact that all of the land is what is stopping it from going over. Like, it has a volume. Okay. Lord. Fucking hell.
Travis?
Yeah, okay. Well, basically, the argument I just said basically smashes it, but,
No.
whatever. We'll just
It
go to
doesn't.
something else that smashes it, because it's endless. So, even if, even if you don't want to acknowledge what I just said, which you did a good job at avoiding all that, the rate of curvature for a 24,900 mile in circumference ball is proven wrong. Even people who are not flat earthers admit this shit. Like, people who don't even look into this are like, yeah, the rate of curvature for it being that big, totally wrong. And it's like, if the Earth is a ball, it would have to be not just a little bit
Fucking
bigger,
smash
like
it.
insanely bigger than what they say, like 30 times bigger or some shit. Crazily bigger, because there's absolutely no curvature. If you were going to measure curvature, you would do that on the ocean because water is level. So you would do that on the ocean because you would use sea level. Yet,
There isn't.
there should be like 600 6,600 feet of curvature for every 100 miles. So basically, that means 100 miles away on the ocean. 100 miles away on the ocean, it would be 6,600 feet straight down. It's like rise over run. 100 miles run down like a mile.
He's literally just
Yet
making
there's,
up
I don't know,
words.
a bridge in China that's 100 miles that there's zero curvature, no curvature anywhere. You can see land masses 90 miles away. That rate of curvature totally smashed and proven wrong.
So do you, and this isn't as a appeal to authority question. I'm asking you fundamentally. Without grabbing it, are you able yourself to go ahead and produce the equations for how to find out what the curvature is and what the rate of curvature is? And I know that yeah, you could definitely look them up. But
it's 8 inches per mile squared.
No, yeah, that's not the formula. That's you giving an answer.
You just look at the circumference of a ball and find out how much it would curve.
Okay, but how
it's
would
not
you
that
find out?
complicated.
But how do you know how to find out
the
how
circumference?
Much it would curve? Yes, I agree. But now what? You have the circumference. That doesn't necessarily tell you anything. It lets you know what the perimeter is.
It tells you how big it is, and it's
I'm aware.
wrong.
Yes, I too am aware of how geometry works. But my question is, you say that it's it's. Sorry, I don't recall what the number you said.
It's 6,600 feet for every 100 miles.
600. Okay.
6,600.
6,600 feet for every that for every mile.
100
100
miles.
Okay. I was about to say. Okay, that's fine. But it's fine if you say. Honestly, it's fine if you can't give me the specific answer. I'm just saying. Did you go ahead and produce the, what the rate of curvature would be yourself?
No. Or this is the math. This is the mainstream math they're giving us.
May I ask who they are?
I don't know. Well, I don't want to get killed, so I'm not gonna say it. But Satanists, people who are evil as fuck.
Okay, so perhaps that might. Look, so could I figure out?
Right.
I
you want to know the history of the ball? You want to know the history of that shit
no,
believes?
Probably not. Probably not.
No. No. So I not as much as I want to figure out like the history. More of I know a little bit. Just what do you think is the purpose of the government lying? And I know like it's not specific to you that people believe that there are people lying to us. I just would like to know a little bit about what the purpose is. Just
if you look back, basically
it's definitely the Jews thing. Oh my god.
Well, all right. The Catholic Church are basically the ones who push the whole heliocentric model. They're the ones who published Copernicus's model, the heliocentric model. And basically what it does, it basically just makes you think that you're an animal on a ball that's a random speck in an infinite universe, and it's all by luck and chance. When really, we're the center of some special place. We're actually, it's geocentric. We're the center of the universe. Everything's going around us. So they lie, they invert that basically to make people feel powerless. It's basically like really just evil as fuck.
So I'm going to go ahead and presume that you're probably like quite a religious person.
Every single holy book describes the geocentric model, all of them.
Yeah, but that's not what I asked.
No, I'm not really I don't know, religious per se. I don't know. The shit they're actually right about where we live, and this quote science is all bullshit designed to control you. So. That's +1 for religion, I guess.
Okay. Just so that I'm not considered to be diverting, we can get back to this. I just wanted to kind of understand a little bit of that, but we'll get back to it, I guess. Okay. So I don't know if it would be particularly annoying for you, Prime, if I were to go ahead and because I have the ability to go ahead and figure out what the expected curvature is. But it might take me a moment. So I'm not sure if that
Go
might be
ahead.
a problem, or if you want me to just go ahead and like look it up and
Uh,
try to see if I can find something that's
you can
maybe credible.
if you wanna actually
Yeah,
if you think you
I'm
can
trying to
actually
find that.
if you think you can actually calculate it, then take a moment. I will
Oh
entertain the
fuck,
audience or something.
that's hilarious.
But yeah, go ahead.
Okay,
It
thanks. Yeah,
yeah. So,
Dude,
um, yeah,
there's no evidence of curvature.
that's very
sure.
nice. That's very nice, Travis.
Okay. Well, we'll let the physicist work that out. And we'll see what her response there is. Uh, so I guess I'll. All right. So while waiting on her for that, um, sure. Let's talk more about this history. I feel like this
Okay,
is.
so a Catholic priest is the one who came up with the Big Bang Theory. The
Uh-huh.
Catholic Church are the ones who published Copernicus's model after he died.
God.
Now, they also have a telescope that's called Lucifer. It's like the biggest or second biggest telescope in the world, Vatican owned. Um, by the way, Nikola Tesla had access to the Vatican libraries when he was a child. Fucking, that's the most insane shit I've heard, but kind of
Oh
irrelevant.
my
But
god, holy fuck.
there's all these
Minecraft.
like okay, NASA was formed by
Minecraft.
Nazis. Werner
Minecraft.
von Braun, the main Nazi who directed all the moon missions, he's like
Minecraft.
the main rocket scientist who was responsible for putting people on the moon, allegedly. He was best friends with Walt Disney, a known Satanist.
Oh my.
He also said. He also
Sorry.
said.
Sorry. Sorry. Uh, um, hold there.
Uh,
Walt Disney is a Satanist.
yeah, you know the Disney logo literally has 666 in it. People break down all his art. There's literally the most satanic shit you've ever seen in those Disney cartoons. Like he's demonic. But anyways,
No,
um,
where's the 666 in the Disney
the
logo?
the main Disney logo. Just look at
So
it. Just
no, no,
type
just
just type it in. Just
okay,
type it in and pull it up. You can
okay,
see 666.
okay. So you're talking about the castle logo? Is that what you're referring to?
No, it's just the name
Oh,
of
the
Disney.
actual. The D with the curvature. Okay,
And the
I see. All right.
I that has
Earth.
a 6, and then there's one other one.
Oh, okay.
And there's
All right.
way more. There's so much more. People break down all his art. Like, anyways,
Okay. Oh, I see. I see what you're saying.
yeah,
That's ridiculous, but sure. All right, go ahead, please.
yeah,
Go ahead.
yeah. Also, Werner von Braun, his tombs. By the way, he said a bunch of crazy shit. Like the last years of his life, he was dying, and there's this woman, Dr. Carol Rosin, who was like taking care of him when he was dying. She says the craziest shit you ever heard of like what he was telling her. I don't even want to say it because it's fucking scary to say it. Like, anyways, but on his tombstone, the dude who put people on the moon, the main Nazi who directed all the moon
Holy
missions,
fuck.
Mhm,
on his
Okay.
tombstone,
mhm.
it's a
So I
single
have
Bible
like
verse,
what amount
Psalm
needs to be covered for you
19:1.
to
You
see.
can go ahead and look that up.
I will.
PSALM
Okay.
I know it's full
19:1.
song.
Okay.
Okay. Yep. 19.
Why don't you tell the people what that shit says?
Hi.
Okay. 1 second. Psalm 19:1. The heavens declare the glory of God, the skies proclaim the work of his hands.
Oh lord.
Not the firmament.
Not that I want to get into potential TOS category, but and I won't. But how does the fact, if it is true that the Nazis formed NASA, how does that disprove the fact that the globe is round?
It doesn't disprove anything.
Oh, okay. So then why is it a point to bring up?
You know, I asked about the history of this, so
Oh,
that's why.
okay. Sorry.
So
Hotep,
we keep
isn't
working
it?
on that. But okay, so
Oh, I'm
uh,
done.
okay, sure. But
Sorry.
just one thing. I know I shouldn't ask, but all right. So I have the right verse, right? So I'm using the New International Version of the Bible.
No. It says the firmament. Is there one with the? It says firmament.
I have the New International Version. Is there a version you prefer of the
There's
Bible?
one
There's
that says
so many versions of the Bible. So it's like there's English Standard Version. I can look at that one.
the,
The heavens declare the glory of God, and the sky above proclaims His handiwork. That's that version. Maybe
this.
we can look for the King James version.
There's one
The
that says the firmament declares the glory of God, which
King
is the
James
firmament is
version.
like the dome. It doesn't. It's
It's
basically
the
the
King
same.
James. It's the King James
You
version.
know,
It
Okay.
says,
when we get
"The
to a
heavens
point in
declare by the
which
glory of God, and the
I
firmament
am
sheweth
less scared
his
of
handiwork."
somebody with
Yeah.
the
Okay.
Why
I'm
now?
less
Why
scared of
would the
somebody
dude
with
who
the
directed all the
username that
moon
says
missions put that on his tombstone?
6969
Weird.
than the flat
Also,
earther.
like all
I
these
No,
also
no, no, no.
kind
Okay,
of love it
let's
how this
focus
guy's
on
not
this.
kidding.
Okay.
What does this prove? What like so?
It
I'll
doesn't
just
prove anything. It's
okay.
just
Well
more
then,
circumstantial evidence. Like, maybe the history of all this shit that everyone believes is not as.
why would
It's kind of
this? Why would
fishy
this even bring up a concern? I don't get that part.
because
We could,
he's bringing up
yeah.
what the Bible says about where we live,
The heavens declare the
which is
glory of God, and
totally the
the
opposite. Yeah.
firmament. So the heavens say
I'm
that
still
there
happy that
is.
he like
I'm not gonna get too deep in this
genuinely
because
thought this
this
was
is
going to take 10
honestly not
minutes.
my thing. But the heavens say that God is glorious, right? And the firmament, the earth itself, is proof of
No,
His handiwork.
the firmament is the dome around us.
Oh, I see what you're going with. On the sky above. Yes, that's right. The sky above. I forget. You're correct. The firmament's supposed to be the sky above. Okay.
Yeah.
Proclaims His
He's
handiwork.
really entertaining us now.
Which
That doesn't tell you. That tells you literally nothing. It tells you
yeah,
literally
it's
nothing.
just more looking into the history of that model. It's like, oh wow, why are all these people like Satanists? It's kind of weird. It's kind of weird how the NASA logo has a serpent's tongue in it.
So they're not
Kind of
again. So there's no proof of Satanism. So like even if you can
there's a
find six or
there's a
seven,
lot.
there's literally no proof. Okay, all right. So Kathrana says she's ready. So let's just get back to the debate.
Yeah,
Dollar, bills
just
up.
really quickly, and not that I once again want to get into any form of TOS areas, but when it comes to hard sciences, was it not true that our opposition in World War II were competent in the hard science field? Thus, how they were able to go ahead and like do a lot of the biological things that they were also able to do. And they did have really good scientists on their team, so I just don't really entirely understand how just because they're okay, I can walk with potentially the Nazi Party being Satanist. What does that?
And no, it's even
It, TOS?
it's the
TOS,
before
like
that.
It's not. No, it's not that it's TOS. I'm saying don't not take party. It's no. Look, let's go back to the.
yeah, that's fine.
It was just
Yeah.
scientists. It's not.
Also, thank
Anyways,
you
they
guys
were.
for going
It
ahead and
was
giving
before
tips. I'm
that
so
though. The
sorry if
Catholic
I'm not
Church.
being as
They're the
No,
ones.
let's talk about
Anyways,
the
yeah,
Catholic Church.
let's go back to the actual hard science.
okay. Cool. So for you to be able to go ahead and see a dip, it honestly all depends on what altitude you're at. Let's say if you're at 1,000 kilometers, the amount of dip that you would see in the case of like the Earth, going ahead and curving, would be different than the amount of dip that you would see if you're at sea level. You agree with that?
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, with that, and with just using the radius of the Earth, you would need to be at 10 kilometers 11 kilometers to see just 0.1 degrees of a curve, which is not entirely within the human eye's ability to see, is 11 kilometers out. I do know that cameras and etc. exist, but could you just reinstate what was your number that you had for?
Okay. Sure.
Why does it
So
sound so fucking exhausted?
anything you want to bring up, like I don't know, satellites, amateur rockets, whatever, all of it shows a flat plane. All of it. Now, you want to bring up satellites? Satellites.
I didn't bring up
There's
satellites.
videos. Okay, I'll bring up satellites. There's videos of satellites crashing and taking off. NASA's the biggest user of helium. all these satellites are on helium balloons. They go up 120,000 feet, and at 120,000 feet, the
Wait,
horizon rises to eye level. No
I'm sorry,
curvature.
really quickly. So you think that current satellites are at 120,000 feet?
They're on helium balloons.
That's nice. Are they at 120,000 feet?
That's how high helium goes. Helium balloons.
Okay. Um, so
Unless
that
you want to talk about the ISS, which is blatantly fake.
okay. That and I'm not. Because very
Okay.
interestingly, I happen to be, as stated at the beginning, the president of a organization where we go ahead and do this type of stuff. And we are currently trying to be one of the first civilians, or I'm sorry, not one of the first civilians to build a rocket that's able to go ahead and pass the Kármán line. The Kármán line is the boundary of space and Earth. That's at 100 kilometers, which is more than 120,000 feet. So I'm a little bit confused as to
Yeah.
how would satellites be at 120,000 feet, because we would hit them on the way there. You're on mute.
Yeah. There's still no evidence of curvature. So it doesn't matter
But
what you say. You can't show me anything
okay.
that's curvature.
So give me a second. The fact that 120,000 feet or rockets.
The highest is
hold
the
on.
highest 240.
Give me a second. So here's what we're
Okay.
gonna do. So I don't try. I want to hear what you have to say. So I'm not interrupting you. So when I'm speaking, you're not gonna interrupt me. So just give me a second, okay? So when you say that there's no evidence of curvature because of the whole altitude thing, that's not my fault. If now we're on a topic in which you don't believe goes ahead and proves curvature because you decided to divert to that topic. So if you don't want to be on a topic in which you don't think is an adequate enough for curvature, then do not go to a topic that does that. Now, do you want to stay on a topic that you think is more relevant? Or if I go ahead and give you an answer for as to how satellites cannot be at the altitude that it's at, you say, okay, that doesn't prove curvature because I just told you that you were wrong about something, but you rather say that I'm not doing what my job is when you decided to be wrong and I'm correcting you.
Is the highest amateur rocket like 240K feet?
Is the highest amateur rocket
Is that right?
240K feet?
Like,
Yeah.
I'm guessing how high it can go.
Or that's the highest that something has gone.
Yes, that's high. Yeah.
There is an amateur rocket that has said that they did pass the Kármán line, but we don't have data, so I cannot confirm nor deny whether or not they have. But 240,000 feet, I would not be upset with saying that might be the number at right now's current rate. Yeah.
So is that high enough to see curvature?
Is that high enough to do? I could go back to doing another set of equations, but that wasn't what I was just asked to do. I was working on the other
Okay.
one.
Okay,
So if you want to
we
give
don't
me
need
a couple more seconds, I can do
No.
that for you. But I don't think you want to necessarily go back down the Satanist route. So I'm.
So there's no evidence of curvature then.
I did not
What?
say that. I said that I'm not a big fan of going ahead and saying something just to go ahead and win an argument. I'd rather be correct. So at the moment, if I don't know the answer, I will say I don't know the answer. And at the moment, I cannot say I 100% know the answer to this. So I'm not going to lie and say I know the answer.
Do you want those moments to? That's fine. You want to take a few moments. 45 miles in the air. If you can see, that's 240K feet. 45 miles in the air. Whether you can see curvature.
Yeah, guess what? You can't. And there's video of it and no curve. Weird.
Okay, so I don't care very much for your videos. What I've been doing at the moment is giving you numbers, and I have yet to resort to NASA says, or the ESA says, or I saw this one photo. So we can stay on, actual argument where you can. I
All
like
right.
for your gravity one. You didn't say you saw a video in which I'm able to engage. I'm not going to engage with YouTube videos.
We're just talking about evidence of curvature, which there needs to be video evidence or photo evidence, and there's none. That's the
No,
whole point. But
because
anyways, we could just no.
there's
You
things
can't use
such.
math to give me evidence. It doesn't work.
Um,
But you can't
yeah,
give me a
and
mathematical
yeah,
model as
I've
evidence.
yeah. So that's good that we went ahead and figured that out prior to me going ahead and getting those numbers together, because not that it would particularly hurt my brain to do. More of just I don't really I don't really see the point in giving you a number if you would just go ahead and deny it.
Well, it's
So
not
let
evidence.
Okay, so may I, great. Now, is there a reason why? And I'm not just on my paper, just doing the meme where I have a cone in my head, and then I think of pi r squared, and tip tap my head, and what exactly is secant tan? What exactly, what exactly do you? Um, why is math not considered evidence?
Well, I consider actual evidence to be evidence. So a mathematical model is not evidence. Sorry.
But
Just because you draw something on a piece of paper,
oh,
like
well,
if I draw a
yeah.
mathematical
So
model
very
of prime
luckily for
Cayes' room
you.
right now, hold
Okay.
on, just
So
hold
no,
on.
no, no. Hold on.
If I
First
draw,
of
hold
all,
on.
no.
No, I was
Uh,
no.
Oh, sorry.
no, actually,
Let him
you're
finish.
right. Yeah, you're right.
Let
Let
him
me
finish,
stop.
please. Travis, please go ahead.
Okay. If I draw a mathematical model of prime Cayes' room and give it fake dimensions, my drawing isn't truth. It's not evidence. It's just some shit on a piece of paper.
Okay.
It's
So
theory.
yeah. So I guess luckily for you and I and maybe audience, when right now I was figuring out how much it took to go ahead and do a curvature, when you get past the fifth grade level, you don't need to draw for you to go ahead and figure out things like that. So I didn't draw the earth, and then
That's
said.
not the point.
So I think what he's
So
saying is that
what is the point? Because
The,
probably
the point is a
in your own
mathematical
detriment
model.
is that you post your stuff ahead of time. So I know your idea on models being incorrect, but and I understand that you say like a
No.
piece of paper is not equivalent to the truth, which is why I'm not drawing the Earth.
so Colorado, let me see if I can help. And again, I'm just trying to move this along. Travis, once again, tell me if I'm incorrect in
All right.
stating your argument. What
Also,
he is
thank you
trying to
guys for
say is
giving
that the
It's really helpful.
variables involved in that equation, he doesn't see any proof for them, right? So, for instance, the radius. I use the radius of the Earth to figure out how far out you have to see the curvature, right? He's saying, well, how do I know that radius is actually correct? Right? So you can put these numbers down on a piece of paper, and you can come up with some sort of equation that comes up with some sort of answer. But if the inputs aren't correct, right? If it doesn't have evidence for those inputs, then the outputs
Exactly.
could be incorrect. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So, not that I necessarily have the specific experiment in which was used to go ahead and figure out what the radius of Earth is, but I can go ahead and let you know how a somewhat, not similar, but I can let you know about a recent proof that I've had to do and how we go ahead and execute things like this, and then how peer review works of it. Um, and not that I want to necessarily police tone. I actually fundamentally cannot. But I'm pretty sure historically you've had arguments with people in the past where they were not very charitable to your ideas, and they probably spoke to you like you were an idiot or something. And right now, I'm not doing that because I don't find it to be rhetorically effective, and I actually have no interest in further galvanizing you to think that your ideas are something that are being prosecuted, because they're not. They're just ideas that happen to be outside of the scope of what scientific data gives. It's not really that crazy. If you continue with the rest of your life being a flat earther, it doesn't hurt me. So, in return, it would be nice to, when I say things, that you don't have this, well, fine, kind of like tone. It's like
I'm sorry.
really unnecessary.
I think it's literally hilarious. So I just have a hard time not
Yeah,
like when ballers start.
yeah. So,
Sorry.
yeah. So I also probably find your ideas to be quite funny as well. But there's this thing called maturity and tone, where you just kind of don't. So I'm not gonna police. You can do what you want. I'm just letting you know of like how I would prefer, and you can do as you would like. Okay. So now as for, I lost my train of thought just because that was quite irritating. Can I please be reminded as to what I'm...
You're talking about mathematical
Okay,
models?
yes, exactly. Thank you. Cool. So then, for an electron, how exactly do we know what an electron's mass and charge is? We were able to go ahead and conduct an experiment in which we were able to use electric fields and magnetic fields to go ahead and curve what an electron beam from a cathode, and in turn, by figuring out how much voltage you need to go ahead and apply, we were able to go ahead and put the electron beam at different curvatures at 8 centimeter, 6 centimeter, 4 centimeter, 2 centimeter, and use that to find out what the electron charge over mass ratio is. Now, I go ahead and perhaps do, let's say we were talking about electric fields, and I would say, hold on, give me a second, let me go ahead and write down what, how many electrons would need to be applied to a field for a particular, let's say we want to talk about 12 volts. So I'd say, hold on, let me go ahead and figure out how many electrons are there. And you could say in turn, your model is just numbers. How do I know that's real? And that's because the numbers that we get come directly from experiments and peer-reviewed repeated experiments in which multiple researchers went ahead, and when the paper first came out, of course people were like, what the fuck? Okay, no, I need to test this to see if this makes sense. Someone does it over and over again, and we all get the same result, and thus we are like, okay, now that is an accepted number. And that is why when I go ahead and put the radius, there is an experiment in which we use to go ahead and abstract that radius from other data. So I just don't entirely understand why, if I use a number which is accepted, why would that automatically say, well, I'm not going to listen to that, that's just a model.
Okay, well, I'll get into that. But you're talking about fields, can you like define what a field is?
It's irrelevant to what we're talking about right now.
Okay. All right. It's just no one can. It's kind of weird, but when you're talking about the map,
I'm sorry. No one can describe what an electric field is?
Can you define it?
No, is that what your question is? There's nobody out there that knows how to describe what an electric field is?
I know what it is. But the mainstream scientists don't know what it is.
I feel like this is
Find what it is?
I feel like this is bait.
No, it's not bait. It's just an honest question.
And I will answer, and then we're not going to harp. Okay, yeah. So I'm going to answer, and we're not going to harp on it.
Okay.
I'm just going to answer, and you're going to say, okay, and then we're going to move back on. Okay. Great.
Okay.
So a field is basically what would be the expected electric force that something with a 1 coulomb charge would end up experiencing. So the actual formula for it is Ke, Ke, which is the electron constant, K1, K2 over R. Yeah, over R. Wait, no.
All right.
Sorry, it's KE1 over R squared. So you need to go ahead and add the extra charge into it. And essentially, yeah, so there is an attractive or repulsive force of some particular object. I want to figure out what would something with a R, which is, the distance, experience if I were to go ahead and put it 1 meter away. Just anything. And yeah, it's essentially what is the kind of like ratio to per coulomb that something would feel. Obviously,
Okay.
then you would need to go ahead and input what the charge of that particular thing is from there to figure out what the force is. But it's correlated to force. Okay, so
All right.
let's
So back to the what you were saying about mathematical models and everything, and like why would you doubt these mathematical models whenever math is actually used to figure out how far away the sun is, and if you actually look into that math, they pre-presume the size and distance of Venus. What you're talking about when you talk about these mathematical models, they're plugging in numbers. It's math magic. It's not legit. It's not based on evidence.
Okay, so we essentially want to expect that science. I'm not doing again like appeals to authority. So I'm just saying. You think that people go ahead and want to figure out what the distance between Earth and the sun is, and we just kind of fuck around and put random numbers in, and
No. It's not fucking around. It's specific, and they're trying to get a certain outcome. The whole like the fact that I don't know, this star is this far away, the sun's this far away, all of that shit, like all the math about how far away everything above us is all based on math magic. And they wanted to do that. They wanted to plug in these numbers because they want the heliocentric model. They want to push that model. They need infinite space. They need like the infinite universe and like all that shit. They need us to be it's all just math magic. They're literally just plugging it all in.
um,
And there's no evidence for it. That's the thing.
yeah.
You can have this mathematical model. There's no evidence.
So I can go ahead and answer, and then from there, Prime. Do you mind if I kind of revert the conversation and I guess perhaps use some questions that I can go ahead and ask Travis
Sure.
to go ahead and explain?
Sure. Uh-huh.
Okay, because some of I just don't see some of the relevance for some of these, and if you, it's fine if you kind of just wanted answers on a couple of scientific concepts, but I don't entirely understand how this is related to the Earth being flat or round. Okay, so telescopes, do they exist?
Yep.
Okay. So with telescopes, you can go ahead and with any type of lens, you can say if I have to put the focal point at point, of this amount, to be able to see this thing in focus properly, that means that this must be a approximate distance from my focal point. And obviously, on the scale of which we are dealing with planets, this is going to need to be, essentially changes in like the nanometers of how much you're going to have to go ahead and change your focal point. But that is the way that lenses work. If you have, as with most things, if you can go ahead and grab, let's say, 4 out of your 5 variables, then you can go ahead and answer what the 5th variable is as a result of you having the rest of the answers. So I don't completely understand how you think it's unattainable for us to know how far the sun is or what the size of the sun is as a result of. You're saying it's based
I don't think it's unattainable. I think they're lying about it.
Okay, and then I guess in that case, it gets into a bit of a conspiracy territory, and
The whole thing
think,
is conspiracy.
and I guess it's great that you recognize that. I guess it's just a little bit of I could myself go ahead and grab a telescope and do this myself, and then I could come back with the numbers, and then
Yeah.
I think
So
you would still
wh-
say that my model's not correct enough.
what
Um,
you're saying is you could go look at a light that's supposedly, I don't know, hundreds of thousands of miles away, whatever, light years away through a telescope with one eye. You're telling me you're looking at some spherical planet?
I'm sorry. Can you not see the sun right now?
You're
I don't
looking at a
understand what you're
light.
getting at.
Okay. This. Wait, what?
If you go outside at 7 a.m. your time, you can see the sun. I don't understand. I just don't get what you're getting at when you say, "Oh, you can see some spherical planet." Yeah, you can see it all the time. What do you mean?
No, you're looking at a light with one eye, and you're telling me that it's a planet? You're looking at a light that's supposedly hundreds of miles away through a telescope with one eye.
Uh,
I,
wait, I'm
I,
sorry. If I close one of
so
my eyes and look at Prime's face, is he no longer a person because I'm using one eye to look at it?
Okay. No.
and again, correct me if I'm wrong, Travis. So I want to make sure you guys understand each other. You're saying that when you just use
Ooh.
one eye, you can no longer use stereoscopic vision, right? And so you can't tell if something is 3D or not. So how
Yeah.
can you tell if that light, right, is light reflected from a planet? That's what he's saying to you.
Uh, oh, I'm
And
sorry.
also, the biggest telescope is called Lucifer, by the way. I'm just gonna throw that
Uh,
out there.
okay, so first of all, I can look into it, but I'm pretty sure, even if this is a telescope, that's not the largest one, and even if it is called Lucifer,
Okay.
I don't
One
understand what the
of.
relevance is. Okay, one of and is very
It's
different.
not. Yeah,
So
it's not relevant.
okay, well, I'm happy we recognize that. Okay, great. So I'm gonna go ahead and move on to my things really quickly, but I also want to go ahead and um, yeah, quickly also say, 1 second. My medication has weared off, so I lose my words sometimes. Okay, yeah. Okay, so as for the sun isn't a planet. It's a star, and even if it were to not be 3D, I don't understand what does that have to do with the distance.
No, not.
These are
I'm not talking
these
about
are
the sun. I'm just talking about other lights. The sun is clearly not 93 billion miles away. I'm not talking about the sun.
okay. Is the sun walking distance?
Well, you
Um,
can't walk in the sky,
okay.
but it's
Uh,
close. It's a lot closer than 93 million miles away.
okay. That can be a conversation for another time. I can't wait. Now, can I have different explanations for different phenomena? Um, so, lunar eclipse. The lunar eclipse is a thing. Uh, how come all of us are seeing the same thing when we have a lunar eclipse, as opposed to all of us seeing different parts of the lunar eclipse?
Okay, this is the thing. You're assuming it's the heliocentric and you're assuming it's the heliocentric sun and moon. That's what you're assuming when you go into like, oh, how does this work? And I actually don't know how it works, but there's flat earthers who
Great.
literally smash all of that. Like, if you wanna listen to how eclipses work on the flat Earth, go listen to David Weiss talk about it.
Okay. Um, well, that was a very satisfying answer. Okay. So how come people in the north can only see the North Star, and people in the north can't see the Southern Crosses? And likewise, why can't people in the south see the North Star, etc.?
Because it's far away.
Okay, so
You
what
can't see
is
the
the
sun. Like, you're assuming. Here's what you're assuming. You're assuming that the Earth is flat. So, like, if the sun is
I
above us on a flat plane, then wouldn't the whole flat plane be lit up by the sun? No, that's not how it works. The sun only lights up parts of this flat plane at once, and the sun moves in a circle, lighting up parts of this flat plane. It doesn't. The light doesn't just travel forever.
what?
You're assuming the heliocentric sun. You're assuming the heliocentric, like the stuff they tell us about what's above
No,
us.
no, no,
You're
no.
assuming it's
I'm
the
think no. I'm thinking of your framework in which you're able to see
yeah,
people, right? Like you're able to see
yeah.
me. Okay, I just wasn't sure if you had a if you were on the phone or something. So if they're sorry, I'm gonna have to let go of push to talk. So I'm just gonna show up my hands and then I'll put back on push to talk. My finger, the thing that's moving, is gonna be a sun.
This is kind of poetic, like a
I
performance.
know,
So
I know.
dance.
Performance arts, what to do. Okay, so now for that, now I still don't entirely understand as to why is it not possible to see the stars, because I don't see how the
Um.
heliocentric sun is
So
relevant
no, no,
to
no,
stars.
no, 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 no. The constellations and the stars don't work on the heliocentric model at all. Like if you're talking about the North Star and all that stuff, not only like the night sky should be different every night. You can see the Big Dipper year round. That's impossible.
Okay, but there are some that you can't see year round.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
Okay, so
Okay, it still doesn't work at all.
So
It
what
still
does
doesn't
that?
work.
What does that
Okay,
mean? It
so
doesn't
what you
work.
got? Here's what you guys believe.
Okay.
So you're going around the sun, and the part of the Earth that's facing the
this is
sun
great.
is daytime. The part of the Earth that's facing away from the inside of our solar system is nighttime. So every 6 months, you're on the other side of the sun, which would mean that when it's nighttime, you're facing a whole other part of the universe. You're facing like away from the solar system on two different sides of the sun. Yet you see the Big Dipper year round. Not only that, we're not the only thing moving. We're going around the sun. Our sun in our solar system is going around the galaxy, and everything else is moving at the same time. Not only like there would be no like constellations that you'd be like seeing the Big Dipper year round is totally impossible.
Okay. Then once again, why can't that doesn't answer the question as to why I living in Canada can see the northern star, but I can't see the Southern Cross.
Because you're not by like you're not under it.
Okay.
The stuff above us moves above us.
I'm a little bit confused as to what is
I
your
I know.
So
Okay.
so
No. So hold on. What exactly is what is the reference point here? Like
Okay,
what
we'll just go
now?
with the sun because it's easy to
Are
explain
we
with the
in?
sun.
Yeah. Are we entirely stationary? Like pure stationary, and we're
Yeah.
like. So does everything
Yep.
in the entire universe completely revolve around Earth?
Well, it's not the universe like the way you think it is, but
That's
yeah.
great, but you do
Here's
understand
how
that there's
this.
other planets beyond like the eight. So let's just go ahead and say
Um.
universe.
Uh-huh.
So
Okay. Well, let me just go with the sun. Here's how the sun actually works. So let's just say the
can't wait.
sun is like 60 miles above us. It, it's something like that, 60 to 100. So the sun is above this flat plane that doesn't move. It's 60 miles above us, and it moves in a circle going around this flat plane. So when the sun moves far away from you, the reason why you think it's going down is because it moves really, really far away, and due to perspective, it goes down the same way. If you look down a really long hallway, the top of the ceiling starts to descend. Like
Damn, it's
things,
like you
due to
just proved
perspective,
curvature.
things appear to go
Okay.
down. So when the sun moves really, really far away, it appears to go down. It's not going down at all. It moves in a circle at the same altitude.
Okay. Um, so that's uh kind
That's
of
actually what it is.
great. That's actually no different than what a heliocentric model is, because the sun still
No,
isn't
it's
going down in a heliocentric model. It's
yeah,
just
we're
us
spinning.
turning. Yeah.
Yeah, but we're
Uh,
not. The sun moves, we don't.
okay. That still doesn't answer.
Okay, do you
my
have any
initial
evidence for the
question.
heliocentric model? Do you have any evidence? Like any evidence of curvature or any of the stuff you're saying?
Yeah, so when it comes to heliocentric, that's not the conversation here. It is flat Earth or not. And even if we
Okay.
go ahead and have a geocentric model, if we still have a circular Earth model, but it's geocentric, we are at least still able to have northern lights, northern star and southern star. So, what this conversation is more at hand when I ask about the northern and southern star is I don't really give a shit what the center of the universe is. It could be my left testy for all I care, as long as we have uh, an answer as to why can I see northern star in the north and southern star in the south.
If the sun is rotating if it's moving in a circle, why don't you see the sun all day? Like why isn't the sun lighting up the whole flat Earth? It's the same thing.
Because of
The sun
this.
you don't see just because you're on the same like the sun moves really far away. The light doesn't just travel forever. Like it doesn't just light up this entire plane.
Okay, how about okay, we can move on because I'm not getting an answer, and that doesn't necessarily mean.
So just, but Travis, you're assuming again that you are correct in not considering the other model, right? And saying why
No,
isn't
no.
it lighting
Okay.
the in a spherical model,
Left
right?
testy
Wouldn't that answer your question
confirmed.
as to why it's not lighting?
No.
Okay.
No. It only works. No. The sun is moving in a circle. We're not moving. The constellations actually don't work on the heliocentric model. They only work on the
Okay, no,
flat
no,
Earth
no, no,
model.
no, no, no. Ignore
Like
that
I
part. Sorry. I just because I think we're
okay.
missing something here. I'll try it again, right? So say one more time. What is your contention as to why you think that the Earth is not completely lit up? So to make sure that everyone understands, like completely lit up by the sun.
It's because the sun is not some 93 million mile away giant ball like they say it is. It isn't
Okay.
the heliocentric sun.
Okay. Um,
I think there's a bit of a conflation between heliocentrism and flat Earth. I am willing to
Well,
suspend belief on what the center of the Earth, the center of um, our solar system is. Um, Great. That still doesn't give me answers on northern and southern stars.
uh, okay, the heliocentric model doesn't work. You can't have the northern
But
star
that's not the
just
point.
fixed. It is the point. It doesn't work on the heliocentric model.
But they're
It does work on
but
the
they're
flat
not.
Earth model.
But they're irrelevant. Flat Earth can be heliocentric.
Okay.
Yeah, flat
Yeah.
Earth.
Well, what you're saying is basically
Oh my God!
like
Hello, Raiders.
yeah, flat Earth. Of course, the Earth isn't flat. There's like mountains and shit. It's not just a plane. It's not like a
I
flat plane. So of course it's like yeah, it's not flat. That's not what we're saying. We're saying that heliocentrism, like we're saying it's
I'm so
geocentric.
sorry, guys, that you
That's
had
what
to
flat
watch
Earth
this.
is.
Okay. I'm gonna switch to another question.
Do
Why
you have
are
any evidence though?
do I have any evidence as for northern
Yeah,
and southern stars?
the Earth being a ball, or no, the Earth being a ball.
And sure,
We can go with that.
yeah, and let's say with each of my question, I'll go ahead and give you an answer, and a lot of it will just be Earth round, but that works. I can go ahead and kind of explain things a bit more. Okay, so with the case of a northern and southern stars, so we have at no point in the revolution of the Earth does it also happen to turn over. Things that are at the bottom stay at the bottom, things that are at the top stay at the top. So we have the northern lights, which are essentially directly above the northern pole. So when we go ahead and rotate, that's why the northern lights stay basically stationary. At most, they kind of precess, but it's not an intense enough precession for it to be something that people can consider to be unreliable. Now, alternatively, there's also the same thing where you have on the other end, at the bottom of our, you know, uh, spherical Earth, we have the Southern Cross that stays basically parallel, not parallel, but yeah, parallel to the southern pole's axis, and thus it's also able to be used as a navigational tool. Um, so that is why we have northern and southern stars, because in a flat plane, the concept of northern and southern are basically arbitrary. What makes Canada more northern than Haiti, uh, in a flat Earth model? I'm not sure. But at least in terms of stars, for something to be considered stationary to us, um, there would need to be some form of poles and axes to line it up with. Um, and you can also see accordingly that throughout the year, different stars are able to be seen, and that's how we went ahead and created our best friends zodiac signs, is because there are some stars that you're only able to see during certain times of the year, um, in accordance with our revolution around the Earth. That is a heliocentrism thing, which is not necessarily the most important to go ahead and further elaborate on. So what I'm elaborating on more here is more of just how the orientation of stars are lining up in accordance with a spherical model.
I mean, I get all the explanations for the model that you guys have, but do you have any evidence?
Okay. So what is
Stars.
okay? Because you keep saying this. All right. So what would count as evidence of anything that she has said?
Yeah. Also,
Video,
guys, just
photographic evidence?
Sure. Okay. But on the other side of that, right? So there is like photographic evidence of like um, sun and everything that they say about that, right?
stop.
Photographic evidence of the Earth,
Also,
and
just
refutations online. Like I can
as an
also do the whole
explanation,
video
guys,
thing. I could point you to a video
I'm
that says
completing my
this and
physics
that,
degree
right?
right now.
But
So just so you can
in the end,
understand
you
a
would
little bit of my
need
background.
to be able to describe the model, whatever model you believe in. So, if so, Katarana, what she has done, and I'm sure she could actually show you the equations, right? She tried to come up with like the answer as to like how far away you'd have to be to see the curvature of the Earth, right? And she did it with like a mathematical
Australia isn't
equation
real.
to describe the model. You have presented a model of the universe, right? But do you have equations that um, uh, can be used to check that your model is correct, right? So you're saying you have video, and photo evidence of that your model is correct. Okay, sure. But do you have any mathematical
Can we talk
proofs,
about once
right,
again
that
how he thought this was going to
that
be a
show how
10-minute
this works?
conversation?
The reason why you need these
Also,
mathematical
thanks for
proofs
raid
is because you don't have
again.
video evidence. If you have
No,
video evidence, you don't need anything else. It's
no,
like
no,
on
no.
video.
Okay, so, but you can understand, right, that things from certain angles, right, certain angles might give you an incorrect perspective, right,
Dog.
on an object, right? Like that's the thing that'll happen. If you're looking at something at a
Yeah.
certain angle, you may misunderstand what you're actually looking at. Correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then possibly that the video evidence that you're talking about um, doesn't actually show what you think it shows. It's a possibility, right? And I'm not saying it doesn't. So I'm not even trying to disprove you right now. I'm just asking for what I'm trying to understand what the evidence is because like this is going nowhere at this
Okay.
point.
Well,
So then, like, do you have a mathematical
sure.
formulas
Stop
Yeah.
that
it
You,
right there.
you want
yeah,
some? Okay.
Fucking stop.
So like I don't know, the
Fucking banging
curvature
turtle. I'm
math,
kidding, Robin. I love you.
6,600 feet for every 100 miles. There's a bridge in China it's 100 miles on the ocean. Now that bridge should be a mile straight down at the end of that 100 miles, but it isn't. So that's math right there, proving
that's
that
not
yeah.
that's
Where no no
okay.
no
So once
where
again,
where there should be 6,000 feet of curvature, there's none. You can be like, oh, if I'm looking 20 miles away on the ocean, and I'm like 3 feet above the water, there should be this much curvature, but there's none every time.
So you said there's a bridge in China that's 100
Yeah,
miles. 100-mile bridge. Okay. Because
it's literally endless. These things. Like they're going to bring up like 1,000 of those things where it's like just debunking the rate of curvature.
okay, yeah. So I'm pulling this up. What's the world's longest bridge? The world's longest bridge is the Dongyang
Guys,
Kunshan Grand Bridge in
give a
China.
bit or a sub just
It's
for my fucking
102.4 miles long.
for my
Okay,
pain.
yeah. Part of the train line,
Oh
flat,
lord.
constructed,
But also,
10,000 mark. That's okay.
thank you.
The
That was a
bridge
habit of
averages
input
100
so far.
feet, 31 meters off the ground. All right. Um, and your argument, I'm looking at photos of it now, is that you don't see a sharp enough curve as you think it's
No, there's
described.
none. There's zero.
Yes,
So
thank you.
I'm looking at it. I'm
Yes,
looking at
do
it,
it.
Uh-huh.
so
Does it look like it's going down a
so
little bit?
so hold on, Katarana. Um, and I'll send you, Katarana. I'll even send you the link here that I'm looking at. And I'll put the link in chat
Now
here
all
so
of you guys
everyone else
have
can see
this lovely
the bridge she's
emote.
talking
The
about.
best emote.
And I'll send this to you, Katarana. Um, okay. So
Actually, is
I
photos
love
of
you all.
that bridge, and people go, "Oh yeah, look,
All.
it's curving down." But that's just because you're looking at it and it's perspective, just like how
so
like a long hallway, a ceiling will go down. It's the
so
same thing. If you zoom in, zero curvature. It's just
okay,
an
sure.
optical illusion.
Sure. So the picture that I'm showing that I've shown, I put on chat, that's right there. You don't see any curvature within this bridge, right? It's going straight forward. So Katarana, why would it not have this curvature that he is expecting in his understanding of all this? Um, is it because maybe humans can't see that far? Because that's something you had introduced previously. Um, that like you would expect a human, right? Um, uh, within yeah, from a human's perspective, not be able to see that distance or whatever. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but
Yeah, that's no problem. So yeah, before you're able to see even 1 degree of curvature, you'll have to be at 1100 meters. So that would be about 111 kilometers, which is you know close to the amount the length of this bridge. Now, is this completely over water? It seems like it is. In which case, yeah, um, you essentially have nothing obstructing it. Um, so you would be able to potentially account for the curvature, but there is also the potential that there was that already taken into play when they were going ahead and building this bridge is that there is a curvature to account for, and thus they need to make sure that they're building something that doesn't eventually just dip into the ocean. They can't keep the complete.
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. So how about all those other videos I linked debunking the rate of curvature on the ocean? I don't know, seeing like land masses, not the top of them, the bottom of them, 90 miles away on the ocean.
I think I explained earlier, I refuse to engage with YouTube videos because just as you are able
So
to
video
say,
evidence.
so just as you are able to say, hey, Chris Hadfield has a photo, has video of him floating around in the ISS, and you can see in the Earth in the background. That's doctored. I could do the same likewise. So
Yeah, but
right now when we're talking
you
about a
can't though.
bridge, so right now when we're talking about a bridge, this is a neutral ground. That bridge exists. You agree it exists, and I agree it exists. So I'm engaging with the bridge because the bridge exists. And I did engage with the bridge. That's how I gave you an answer right now. I am not engaging with YouTube
So
videos
your
that some
answer is
guy made.
basically that your answer is basically that there's curvature, but you just can't see it.
My answer is there's curvature. And as I had stopped for a while, about half an hour or more ago, I went ahead and did the map to see what would need to be, how far would you need to be out before you see a single degree of curvature?
No, we're not talking about that. We're talking about distance. We're not talking about height. We're talking
I'm not,
about
not and I'm
sea
not talking
level
about
curving on a
I'm
ball.
not talking about height either.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm talking about if I'm talking about at sea level. How far would you need to be out before you? How far out would you need to be able to see before you see a single degree? And what I said was a 111 kilometers. So if we're sitting on right here on this bridge, and in theory, if they didn't account for the curvature of the Earth when creating this, you would only be able to see approximately 1.3 degrees of curvature on this bridge. Now, would that necessarily be an amount of which is detectable to the human eye? Maybe. Depends on the person. Depends on if you have the correct tools. But, myself or Bob with my iPhone 9 is not going to be able to go ahead and necessarily have the tools to properly calibrate that. Um, so, would curvature perhaps be possible to detect on here? Yeah, sure. They may have accounted it for it though, and they may have went ahead and made the things necessary to elevate it at a rate of which it doesn't actually cause any form of issues, and there is no dip in the structure.
Oh, you think that like if there's a boat, I don't know, like 60 miles away on the ocean, and you're like taking your eye level into account, and you zoom in with the zoom lens and see the bottom of the boat 60 miles away on the ocean, that makes sense to you?
Yeah, it does, because it
Okay,
takes
why?
111 kilometers before you see 1 degree of curvature.
How much feet is that?
That is roughly 111 kilometers is
That's
about
like
75 miles.
kilometers. 111
Kilometers.
kilometers is 68.97 miles.
Yeah, I said roughly.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Okay, but for a ball that's 24,000 miles in circumference, there's 6,000 feet for every
it's
100 miles.
it's
6,000 feet of curvature.
sorry, it's
So you're not seeing. So there's thousands
24,000.
of feet of curvature that you don't see. So if you're like, oh, it's only 30 or 60 miles or whatever, it's only 3,000 feet of curvature, so you don't see it. It's only 3,000 feet straight down. Yeah, that's what you're
Do you
saying.
accept his definition of the curvature? I think that's
I,
probably
I don't entirely understand what his definition is of curvature.
yeah. And you
Because
If
try
the
I know
Earth,
that there's a whole
okay,
thing for
no,
you
no, no.
between
It's,
angular resolution and curvature, so I need to.
Katarana actually this previously, right? And so we can all understand like as to like how you got this number, right? So you got this number, and then all you kept saying was the circumference, like
Oh,
without
well, I'm
actually
sorry
okay.
I'm
producing an
losing you
equation.
so,
Oh,
No, no,
sometimes.
this is the math that they're giving me. This is the mainstream math. This is
no,
what they're
but
telling us about where we live. They're telling
okay,
us
sure.
that it's a ball
Okay.
24,900 miles in circumference. If that's the case, there should be 6,000 feet of curvature on the ocean for every 100 miles. So that means at the end of 100 miles, that's more than a mile straight down. You're saying, oh, you don't see curvature? No one sees curvature?
Sorry. I was just rechecking what I put down for circumference to just verify if you and I had the same thing, and it was roughly um, the same. But great. So just because there is a difference of, let's say, a dip of 33,000 33,000 feet. That doesn't necessarily mean that within your perspective that's going to be visible, because it's about degrees, not about dip, right? So there could be a dip of 1 million miles, but if you're looking out to something like 80 million miles, it doesn't matter, because what
We're
you're able to perceive is
we're
going
we're,
to be
ta-
the
we're talking
degrees,
about
not the
we're
actual feet.
we're talking about taking eye level into account above sea level. We're talking about sea level because
So
water
am
is
I.
level. So we're talking about if you're 3 feet above sea level and you see some shit 90 miles away on the ocean, that should be, I don't know, several thousand feet straight down. That's impossible. And it's proven over and over and over. No one sees any
Yeah,
curvature.
so you and I are not speaking in the same thing because I'm explaining that it's about degrees and you're saying about feet, and I'm saying, but that's nice degrees and
No,
you're
no,
saying
no.
feet.
If there's a boat 90 miles away, it should be thousands of feet down.
Great.
It wouldn't matter about degrees. You're looking on the ocean straight. It would be thousands of feet down and around a corner.
Hold on. Sorry, 1 second. How far? And I think maybe this will help. How far can a human eye see? Right, like how far can we see?
Depends on the atmosphere.
Kat-
Depends on the atmosphere. Not very far though. Oh, sorry.
Katarana, how? No, that's fine. That's fine. I wanted to hear your answer. Katarana, how long do you believe a human can see?
I don't know off the top of my head, but
We could just look
okay.
look it up.
Yeah, that's better.
How
If
far?
it's foggy, you can't even see like 3 feet in front of you. It's based on the atmosphere.
So we're not going to be talking in a case in which we're going to talk in optimal conditions, of course.
Okay. So
Yeah,
we're looking this up so we can understand. Altogether, 20 kilometers is even on a clear day. All right. Dust, water, vapor, and pollution. I'll link this in chat as well.
Lord.
It says 20 kilometers, 12 miles. Even on a clear day, often the curvature of the Earth gets in the way first. For example, at sea level, the horizon is only 4.8 kilometers, 2.9 miles away. On the top of Mount Everest, you could theoretically see for 339 kilometers, 211 miles, but in practice, clouds get in the way. For a truly unobstructed view, though, look up. On a clear day, a night, you can see the, I guess that makes sense. So I'll put this. This is from the How It Works website.
How it works, I don't trust them hoes.
Put that in chat.
No, I'm kidding.
And
Also,
I
thank you,
put
new
this in,
people. Thank you, all of you guys,
chat.
for
I'll
coming
look for
and
other ones if you want
handling
another
this. I know this
source.
is probably irritating.
But it's just the first one I looked at. So
Okay.
that's also in VC chat for you, for you too.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, so with that, essentially, as I stated, was with if it's only 20 miles that you're able to see with the naked eye, that's
No, it's 12 miles. 12 miles. 20
12?
kilometers, 12 miles.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah, so then in which case that's a little bit like that's probably 0.3 degrees of curvature that you're able to see at that point, of which 100% you will still be able to see the bottom of something. And I mean,
we're not talking about the naked eye though. We're talking
okay,
about using zoom lenses
and that's fine. And even
or laser beams, whatever.
yeah, that's fine. And in which case you still are going to be able to go ahead and see it because before you'll
You're not.
but you will because that's the way math.
You won't.
So this says, hold on. So hold on. This says, oh no, continue. Actually, never mind. Please continue.
I've looked into this endlessly. There is zero evidence of the Earth curving. There's none.
Okay, but that's
so when you say, "Oh, but you can see curvature," you can't.
Okay, yeah, great. But that's you looking into it is irrelevant to the theoretical possibility of whether or not you'll be able to still see the bottom of a boat from a
Yeah, you're right.
distance away.
The evidence is actually irrelevant to the theory. You're right, and the evidence proves there's no curve.
No, what I'm saying
The theory
is
says
that
one thing.
I'm saying
the
that
theory
you
says one
looking
thing. The
into
evidence
it.
says something else.
I'm saying that you
Yeah.
looking into it in your free time and saying I haven't seen any evidence about it is irrelevant to what our discussion is right now. If I say that you won't be able to see curvature and you say, well, the Earth is flat, that's nice. It's irrelevant because what I'm telling you is that with the Earth being spherical, you'll still be able to go ahead and experience this certain phenomenon as if the Earth is flat. So it doesn't change anything.
So you're saying, oh, it is curved, but there's no evidence, and you can't see
So,
it.
okay.
No.
But it's curved though.
Sorry. I want to make sure that we all are working with the same
Nani?
facts, right? So
I think
so that we can understand
Celiana
each other
ran away.
because we've been working
You're back, hi.
with these
Hello.
effects for a little bit now. So you're saying for 100 miles there's 6,600 feet of curvature, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, so, but there's a website that says for the Earth curves at 8 inches per mile,
Yeah.
right? So 100 miles would be 800 inches, correct? Um, right? 100 miles would be 800 inches.
No, 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 no.
No.
It's 6,000 feet.
Okay, but fine. So you don't accept those numbers. I'll put those numbers in chat as well. So I'm just trying to make sure that we are all working off the same facts because you've been saying this one thing for a while. So
We're
I'll put it
we're
in chat
talking about
and I'll put it in
this.
BC chat. Okay. So there it is as well in BC chat. Okay. So you said 6,600 feet of curvature, right? For every
Yeah.
100 miles. This says it would be 800 for 800 inches,
So
which would
what are
be
you based?
66. So the
No, no, no.
so
What are you
that would
what are
be
you talking about?
66
Like
feet. 66 feet for
for
100
100
Oh
miles?
God,
for 100 miles. 66 feet.
So you're
That's
talking about
I'm just human.
a ball that's 24,000 miles in circumference. 24,900 is the same
so
size ball.
so hold on.
Honestly,
I'm
he
not
thought he
saying
was gonna
anything about that.
fucking
I'm just
rake
looking
me
at
by now.
the facts here. So like you've
Huge.
been
Either way,
so either way. So that's the same.
if either
So
way was true,
that's
there's none.
a
It doesn't even
logarithmic.
matter. Like
Hold on, there's a hold on, no, sorry, excuse me. There's a logarithmic difference between what the two numbers that we're looking at here. It's very
okay,
important that we understand so we're all on the same page, so we can actually have this conversation.
let's go with the lower one then. Let's go with the
Okay,
lower one.
so 66 feet
So
per 100 miles.
uh-huh. And there's none. There's not even 1 centimeter. Still.
Okay, so Katarana, if you could work with that
I'm sorry. There's not even 1 centimeter. What?
Of curvature.
of curvature, I'm saying. Uh,
So, and what is your basis for that? Like the fact that the things are
All the
changing very much.
evidence.
Okay, I didn't finish my sentence, so give me a second.
Sorry.
Is your basis of that something like the fact that you're still able to see the bottom of the boat? Is that like one of the examples?
Sure.
Okay. So, is there very specifically, and that this would be perhaps a good way to go ahead and measure this, though it would take quite a bit of data acquisition.
Here, I'll just link a video that proves it.
I'm not, as I said, video. I'm not doing it. So give me a second. So with let's say prior to a boat taking off from next to you, you're able to see 100 feet of the boat. When it gets to 110 miles away, are we going ahead and saying, oh look, why can't I how come I can how come I'm not only seeing 1 foot of the boat now, or are we frustrated that I'm seeing 99 feet of the boat and why am I not seeing one? Because as I said once again, it's all about perspective, right? So let's say right now we're sitting here on this planet, and there's a star that's 80 light years away from us. There's another star within our perspective that makes it look like these stars are right on top of each other, but in actuality, these things are really, really far away from each other. These are 5 light years away, but in our perspective, they seem to be basically in the same area. They're hanging out. They're twins. Now it's all once. This is all relative to perspective. How far out are we looking? Because just because there's a distance or a change of a large amount, if we're looking at it over a large amount, it does not end up computing in our minds. So this is once again how we go ahead and say things such as this is where angles come into place, because there's this really cool function called cosine and sine. And with cosine and sine, you need to take in your hypotenuse into account. And if we're not doing that, then you're not like it. It's not about what the dip is. It's about the dip over what you're looking at.
Do you understand what she was trying to say by perspective? Um,
No, you just
Yeah,
fucking screamed
okay.
instead.
Um,
there's it.
and, and,
It
and, and,
doesn't like.
so to understand, I'm trying to understand to make sure we're all on the same page in your flat Earth model. And because
Yeah,
I don't
that's
know
what he
this
said.
myself, so I want to know what you're thinking. When your flat Earth model, the stars or whatever you believe the stars actually are, right? Are they like what are they like, and how far away do you think they are? Those lights in the sky.
Well, there's a few theories. The Bible says that they're like nailed onto the firmament. Some people say that they're holes in the like information form of this reality. Some people say that they're like angels in like the higher realm.
Okay.
Basically, they're at least ether
Crack.
perturbation, but I don't know. I would say they're probably entirely just luminary,
Selling,
and
selling you. Send
I
it
honestly
over.
don't
We're
know,
fucking
but
doing it.
it's definitely totally not what NASA says. Like completely, probably the complete opposite, because the Bible says that the stuff that's above us is water. And I
Oh,
don't know, there's
that's
this
right.
thing called star in a jar where you can make a light in water by creating a vibration. I don't know. There's like a bunch of theories, but that whole like this giant ball that's it doesn't it's so stupid. I don't know what it is.
Okay. So, but how far away do you think the top of the firmament goes? Are there estimates for this? I just
The
Um,
so
fuck is
Katana
Fairmont?
understands as well.
I mean, pretty far, farther than the sun by a lot. Um, I don't know. Shit, probably. I don't know. 1,000 miles. I don't
Thousand
know.
miles.
That's
Okay.
just a
All right.
random guess.
And so, and no, it's fine. That's fine. It's fine. I just because I don't know either. And I think the audience doesn't know this as well. Um, so, uh, um, so I guess they're all equal distance to us, right? So since they're well, roughly equal distance. If it's a dome, I imagine the
I don't
firmament's
know
a
what the
dome,
fuck he's
or
talking
am I
about.
incorrect in that?
Yeah, it's a dome. Yeah,
Okay, all right, but all right. So on this dome, and
somewhat
there are
equal. Yeah.
someone equal. I understand. Yeah. Okay. Sure. Right. Um. Interesting. All right. Uh.
By the way, well, that's another
Yeah.
giant problem with the model is that the fact that our gentle atmosphere that birds can fly around in is supposedly touching the vacuum of space with no barrier, which the whole firmament thing explains that perfectly because we have to be an enclosed system. Like our air could not be touching a vacuum on all sides with no barrier. It's totally impossible. But that's another thing that completely bodies it. I know you're gonna say, "Oh, well, vacuums don't suck" and all this stuff that I didn't even proclaim, but whatever.
Yeah, and neither did I. I did not make any of the argument that you're currently making, and I don't
I
see
know.
how atmosphere, atmosphere cannot potentially exist. It can exist in either model. Atmosphere is pretty irrelevant.
No, no,
Oh, okay, but you're
it
saying
can't.
it
Like a
doesn't
pressurized
exist in
environment.
your.
Uh, no, it can't exist in the heliocentric model because a pressurized environment can't exist next to a vacuum with no barrier. Like you can't have an infinite vacuum surrounding us on all sides
I,
that's touching our air.
I
It doesn't
mean,
work
I don't see how heliocentrism is related to vacuums. I mean,
because
vacuums can exist in a flat, in a
no.
geocentric or a
In the
heliocentric.
geocentric model, there's a dome because we're in an enclosed system. Like our air is in a pressurized environment. It's enclosed. It's not touching a vacuum, like the heliocentric model says,
I'm sorry, what is
which
this
is
dome made out
totally
of?
impossible.
Is this dome made
I
out
don't
of
know.
glass?
They tried to blow it up. Yeah, some sort of glass. They tried to blow it up. They called it Operation Starfish Prime, and they're like, "Oh, we tried to shoot missiles up and
Prime,
ignite
I
the
told you to
atmosphere
stop
and light
fucking
up."
around. What?
They tried to say that they were trying to ignite the whole atmosphere and blow it up, but really they were just trying to poke a hole in the firmament, like shoot missiles at it and stuff.
I'm sorry, what is firmament?
The firmament
It's a
is.
dome.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Oh, okay, it's just a fancy word for the
It's
dome.
for the sky. For the
Yeah.
sky. It's like an old timey word for like the sky. And like all of creation above, basically. You know.
Okay.
And so and he sees it, just so we understand, he sees it as a dome literally over the flat earth.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, can I also figure out what exactly what is your map model? Like, what map do you subscribe to for this
Well,
idea?
The UN logo is actually the flat Earth map, but I think the best one is David Weiss's app. It's called the Sun and Moon Zodiac Clock app. It's like a real-time flat Earth map.
Could you link that? I'm sure everyone will love
Yeah,
to see it.
it's in the App Store.
It's in the app
It's
store.
just in
I'm
the
not
App Store.
downloading an app.
Is there a website that we can visit
don't-
or something? Or could you just say the name again? Maybe
his-
I can just Google
Guys.
it.
David Weiss. Oh,
Guys.
it's Sun and Moon Zodiac Clock app.
Guys,
Sun.
what comes up when I look up
And-
David Wise is hilarious. Wait, hold on. I need to show this. Holy shit, one sec.
Zodiac.
It's $3, but it's David Weiss. He probably the best flat earther. He literally he just smashes everybody so badly. But
Oh, I'm sure he
yeah.
does. My anus is gaping. Let's go.
Maybe I'm not finding it.
Guys.
Okay.
Look at this fucking map.
oh,
What
I
is-
can
Yeah.
like show you a screenshot of it.
Yeah, if you could do that,
Oh,
that would be really
His YouTube channel is
okay, that's all I want to
Deep
say.
Inside the Rabbit Hole, but it's just the acronym DITRH.
Yeah.
There's like
Okay.
good flat Earth videos on there.
David Wise
Okay.
is a visionary.
So yeah, if you could if you could put that link somewhere so we can find that. But okay.
Yeah, I was just I was asking about what the model is because I did have one additional question that I wanted to go ahead and bring up before Prime, I don't know, you parade us around. I don't know. For the memes and dreams. Can you explain to me about why
Hold on. Can you explain the vacuum touching our air first?
it's irrelevant to whether or not the Earth is flat or not? I'm talking
Put it in.
100%
No,
of what I've
it's
been
not
bringing.
irrelevant because since it's impossible, that means heliocentrism is impossible.
But this is not a heliocentrism debate. This is a flat Earth debate.
It is though.
They're not. No.
Yeah, but the Earth
They're-
clearly is not a flat plane.
So-
it's not
so-
not a flat plane.
Okay, I
There's mountains.
understand what he's trying to say. You know, he's trying to saying if it's round, if it's like your body, he's trying to poke holes in your model of the Earth and how the atmosphere works, right? And before she answers that, and it might be worth if you could touch on that, right? Katarana, if you could, Travis, describe like how the atmosphere works in your model as you understand it.
Okay.
Hello.
It's basically it's just your model versus my model, but it's basically
Am I handing him
so
a
there's a
W?
dome.
I'm just
We're in a
trying to be
stationary
nice.
plane. The sun and moon
But
go in a
that's fine.
circle above us, and the stars too. They all rotate around us, and basically everything
Oh,
is
shit.
mutually accelerating
It's-
towards going down towards counter space, which is what gravity actually is. But that's why things actually go down. But the whole notion of whatever. It's just it's just a flat plane with a dome.
So okay, I'm not sure if Katarana caught that because you finally given her the answer she wanted at the very beginning.
I don't
right?
feel like getting into it because it's just so
No, hold on, but dude,
My brain's too
then
small.
All right.
I don't feel like having a debate on flat Earth. I don't know what you're here for. But so Katarana had asked you previously, right? What your understanding of gravity was, and so
Well,
do you
here-
think it's some sort
Okay.
of
This is why I don't
I
want
got
to get into it because the things she was saying about like electrons and fields and all that stuff, it's all this. Like I would have to just completely smash everything that she believes about science. So I don't really feel like getting into it.
sure?
Oh my
but
God, he's
again,
gonna end
that's
my
the
life.
debate. So
He's gonna make me cry.
understanding gravity.
All right, we can do it. We can do it.
Okay, great. So we can all understand how gravity
So
works.
what gravity
So
actually
so-
is?
Okay, please go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, it's no different, and it isn't the same thing, but it's no different from magnetic attraction. Basically, if you have two magnets and they're like trying to go towards each other, like they're trying to go towards each other, and you're holding them so they're not, they won't, like you won't let them. They're not actually attracted to each other.
Let's
They
go.
form a point of zero pressure in between the both of them, which is a hole in the ether. And they're basically like the magnetic field is acting on them, and they're trying to rush to fill up that absence of pressure. They're mutually accelerating towards each other. So everything is either a move towards counter space or towards space. That's what like a
Ether's not
paperclip
fucking
being
real.
attracted to a magnet is a movement towards counter space. The magnetic field coming out of the hole in the ether is actually a movement towards space. Everything is either just
define counter space because I've never heard
counter
this.
space is where
Sounds
everything.
pretty awesome.
It's the shit that smashes everything that she believes in. I'm not trying to but whatever. Like the whole quantum physics model is literally laughable and whatever. It's basically everything comes
Oh my
from
God.
everything that we see comes from the unseen, and it's simply perturbating the ether.
Oh
Meaning,
my god.
like, okay, you describe it with the phone.
Oh my
The
God.
phone is the best way to describe it. If you open up your
Ether's
phone,
real.
you go on there, you have like this basically
real.
information dimension. But if
Ether's
you
real.
smash your phone open, you can't find the information in there. It's not there. If you cut your brain open, you
And this-
can't pull out the bad thoughts. They don't exist
Yeah,
there. They're in counter
heard this
space.
already.
Same thing with this reality. Everything you see comes from the unseen. Now, it's all just
This is hilarious, but sad.
so ether perturbation. It's not actually
The only thing making
like
me live.
physical, like
Or
the
the
whole
subs.
notion of particles and all this stuff. It's just fields perturbating the fabric of space, which is, Tesla said that. He said that light is nothing other than a sound wave in the ether. Light is just a field that's perturbating space.
Oh no!
And everything comes from counter space.
Nope.
Okay, I'll explain that.
Also, I don't know what perturbating.
Okay,
I
I'll
apologize.
explain that.
I don't know. Yeah, please.
This smashes the whole.
He's literally just making.
If you shine a beam of light into water,
I'm
light slows down
If
in
you
the
guys
water.
saw my leg right now,
But then
it's
when it comes
shaking.
back out of the water, it speeds back up again, which breaks the laws of physics, conservation of energy. But it's not because it speeds back up. Light isn't a speed. That's the inaccurate way to say
I'm
it.
just
It's basically
waiting for him.
light is simply just a vibration of ether. It's not
just trying
a
to give
speed.
him-
It's an induction rate. So it's simply the rate at which it's vibrating through the fabric of existence. It's basically just a vibration in space, which is the ether. Like and it's just a field. Like all fields are just ether perturbation. And what gravity actually is mutual acceleration towards the Earth. So you're not actually accelerating it's basically like the magnet thing. Like if you and the Earth, it's basically like if you have two magnets and you hold one of them,
Okay.
so it doesn't move, and then you let go of the other
I'm
one, so it
shaking.
goes towards it.
Uh-huh.
The Earth is the one that doesn't move, and you are the one, like when you jump, you're going towards the Earth, but you're not going towards the Earth. You're mutually accelerating towards that point of zero pressure that is formed between you and the Earth.
Okay. And is there any difference between, because now that I'm understanding your model, right? And can you be careful of your mic? I don't know, you're rubbing against something. So just,
Sorry.
yeah, no
My bad.
problem.
I'm gonna end my life.
So is there any real difference between
Minecraft.
what we perceive or what's been described as a magnetic force that brings two things together? Or
And that magic. I
Because
can't
it
believe
sounds
I'm
like they're the
having
same thing
arguments
under
and
what
then
you're
I'm getting
describing.
responses of
They're
math
different,
magic.
but it's the same principle because they're simply a mutual acceleration towards counter space.
I'm gonna.
Same way a paperclip accelerates towards a
Jesus, you're-
magnet. Same thing as with gravity. It's just acceleration
Boy.
towards counter space, but it's just a field that basically setting up a rule. It's not the same thing. It's not magnetism. Like the reason why, like a paperclip or whatever is attracted to a magnet and like wood isn't, is because the paperclip is actually it can set up permanent phenomena. Like it can be a conductor of electricity. Because electricity and magnetism, dielectricity, they're all the same thing.
What? No. Okay.
I feel like, and maybe Katana could could talk about that, because it seems like if your understanding of counter space, if you're of the phenomena that we describe
I'm
as
just
counter
trying not to
space
be a
is
cunt.
as you
That's
say,
essentially
right?
it.
Then
I don't
maybe
think someone
your
like
understanding
this
of
responds very well
magnetism
to people coming in
and
saying
its relation to
dumb shit.
electricity also would not work, right? Because now we're talking about different things, like
No.
how like electricity travels. Because all right, okay, please go ahead, and then maybe Katana. I'm not sure yet. Katana maybe would like to step in. Go ahead, please.
Mine.
Okay, anything
Craft.
with an electric current generates a
Minecraft.
magnetic field and a dielectric field. So it's basically all the same thing. It's like the difference between steam, ice, and water. But everything is
Dielectric field
actually
isn't the same.
from counter space. That's actually a vibration of space. Everything is like a vibration.
Dielectric field is not a thing. Like, literally. Okay, I need multiple citations, because
Alright.
I guess along
I have-
this whole point, it was a true gish gallop of a lot of different things. And
I didn't feel like
perhaps
getting into it.
Yeah, it's
Go
fine.
ahead, Sarah.
It's not, yeah. So there's, where do
Well,
you get your, where,
Let's not call it a gish call, because I did ask him.
no. I'm not saying that it was an argument. You were asking questions and you were answering. It's just I can't keep track of all of them
Okay, sure,
for
sure.
myself, but I don't think all of them were necessarily directed towards me, so that's fine. But yeah, so let's go ahead and kind of clear up a couple of things. Where do you get your model for gravity? Where do you get your model for how electricity works? Where do you get your model for magnetism?
Steinmetz, Ken Wheeler.
Okay, and what are those people's credentials.
All right.
Can I have some of their...
Steinmetz credentials. He's the reason General Electric exists. He perfected Tesla's AC generator. 200 patents.
Do you have a link?
The reason why anybody has electricity.
Sorry, do you have a
He
link?
has books nobody understands. Yeah, just look him up.
I
Charles Proteus Steinmetz. Also, Ken Wheeler. He's also the only guy to describe magnetism and what it actually is. But yeah.
Okay, sorry. So, how do you qualify somebody to be the first person to describe magnetism? Is it the first person to describe magnetism in a way that...
videos. You can go watch his videos of him doing it.
Okay. Do you describe the first person to be doing magnetism as the first person to explain magnetism in a way which you like? Is it the first person to go ahead and explain magnetism in a way in which you understand?
No. He claims he's the only person on Earth to explain magnetism, and nobody can refute him.
Okay. Is that perhaps due to the fact that somebody did not want to
he literally
go ahead?
smashes everybody. He literally smashes. He's
so
much smart.
Rhetorically, for you, what does it mean? What does it mean to body somebody?
How about deconstructing the mainstream model of science and the whole notion of particles? I don't know, annihilating these buffoons who pretend to be like, I don't know, Einstein, people like that.
Okay, so is once again, who's the one that's going ahead and determining that they bodied them, right? Because there's the whole example of quite often Ben Shapiro will go ahead and have arguments with college kids, and he's not actually saying anything better than them. He just happens to be up on the stage, and he's able to cut off their mic, and he's getting the most fucking stuttery 18-year-old he can find. Doesn't mean that he actually bodied fucking anyone. It just means that he was the one that was in charge of the conversation. So what I'm trying to see is, what is your definition of bodying? Is it because you liked it? Was he just was he a good talker? Did he speak real fast?
The example of light slowing down in water and then speeding back up destroys like the whole laws of physics. It destroys it. Like it doesn't work. Like it doesn't work if it's emitting a particle.
Okay, so
it's not an emission.
I could go in my room right now. I could write up a couple of theories. I could come back here and say, this is now my physics model. Okay. And it could completely be inaccurate as to what, or it could be completely, tangential to what the actual physics model is. But just because I go ahead and give an alternative model doesn't mean that's now the correct one.
Oh. The people I'm bringing up are literally like the greatest scientists who've ever lived.
But how do you qualify what the greatest scientist ever lived? Is it because
they literally show you it? It's like all on video, all their thoughts. It's not like.
Do they not have papers? Do they not have things that are published? Are they not in any journals?
Yeah, they have shit tons. Steinmetz has books that people don't even understand.
Okay, great. So I can't wait to.
He has a 6-page-long equation that no one can figure out.
And Ken Wheeler's literally. Ken Wheeler's figured out the only sacred geometry in the universe. He's he's literally one of the forefront minds on like a bunch of shit. He's put out papers about everything. Hold on, give me about like 20 minutes. I'll put up some equations that you'll never be able to understand, and no one else can explain it. Don't worry, boo boo, I got it, but you won't get it. Real talk.
Okay.
So what exactly does it mean? Just because someone's able to go ahead and write an equation that nobody else is able to go ahead and explain, it doesn't mean that it's necessarily just means it's the utmost fucking craziest equation on the street corner. It might just mean that it's pure shit, and no one actually is able to go ahead and
So, why are you so skeptical of these guys, but not of the stuff that you already believe?
Yes, because you're not giving me any articles or any journals.
Oh, I could link you a bunch of shit.
Great.
But you don't want it.
I just asked, can I have it? And I don't want your videos. I want papers, because I'm not going to be able to sit here and watch a video of Ken Wheeler's destroys kid with facts and logic for 2 hours while we're in this debate. So what?
On what though? Like what? Magnetism or what?
Which one is the one that you're saying that is applying to what you're talking about? Is it everything that he's ever said?
I don't know. What are you talking about?
I'm saying I need some form of paper or publish some type of publication, some type of citations, something. I need some form of paper.
For what?
So Travis.
Travis,
hold on. Let me let's try. I can see why this is quite frustrating. I'm actually just more entertained. But Travis, so you said, right, this person, one of the three people you named, I'm not sure, was it Ken Wheeler or something? Who had the 6-page long equations that
No, that's Steinmetz.
Steinmetz, sorry. I apologize. Steinmetz had this 6-page long equation. Okay, great. And I'm assuming these equations explain the flat Earth model, correct?
No, that's about electricity, like
Okay.
magnetism, dielectricity.
Okay. Sure. Right. And this smashes
Well,
the current understanding of electricity.
yes, because every single scientist, like Steinmetz, is the reason why anyone has electricity. Him and Tesla, Steinmetz, Oliver Heaviside, all of them. They all think the idea of electrons is the dumbest shit of all time. Like none of them. They think electrons is so stupid. It's. They all think it's ether perturbation.
Okay.
They all think. They all believe in the ether. They all
So
believe.
these. So no, that's fine. That's fine.
Ether
I get you. I
is
get you. All right.
literally
So they all
not
believe in ether. They all believe in
fucking
counter space. All right. Cool. Give me that progress.
real.
And so he has these equations that smash everything, right?
Yeah.
Smashing things. So what all Katarana is asking for, and the only thing she's asking for, right, is a paper where she can look at these equations and
Yeah. I mean,
try to understand that. So
Steinmetz
like he
He's
published.
must
to
have written them
say
down,
it's
right? So
not.
yeah, where's
Yeah,
that
he
book?
has
It's
many
not
books.
noticed
Many. He has like a shit ton of
because
books. You can just
it's
look
the
up. You can
mainstream
go read his
media
books
not
for free
wanting to
online.
go ahead and take these
Type in
things into
Steinmetz.
account.
Steinmetz books.
Steinmetz books. Do you have one that you could
I
point
don't
us
know.
to that has these equations? They all have the
Hol-
equations, or some
Give
of
me
them have
They
give me
all
like
do.
others?
Yeah.
5 minutes. Let me just go
The
quickly
ones
buy
that
a
I've seen
book.
do. Yeah. No, you can just read it online for free.
Oh, okay. During the debate.
No, do what you want to do, but I don't know.
Okay. So, great. So, when do you know when Nikola Tesla was doing the majority of his experiments?
I don't.
Okay, I'm
Are
gonna.
you gonna?
Okay, quickly,
Are
I'm
you
gonna
gonna
tell you.
like attack
Yeah,
his credibility right now?
give me a second.
I'm not. I'm not really interested. Okay.
I honestly don't really have a preference for what you're interested in hearing about. Like, and when it comes to whether or not I'm gonna attack the credibility of scientists, because as
I mean,
hold on. So I'm
we
not
don't need to
saying.
talk about this.
Hold on. So I'm not saying Tesla
Okay.
is not a good scientist. What I'm trying to get to is you're using this a theory of ether, and ether is not real. Ether's not a thing.
Yeah, it is. It's totally
No,
proven.
very nice. Give me a second.
Yeah.
Hot beam. Give me a second.
Okay.
So ether's not a thing. So ether was something that we believe that needed to go ahead and need to exist in order to go ahead and propagate light, due to the fact that we considered light to be something like other things, like other types of waves, where you need to actually have something for it to go ahead and transfer energy to. Light is not like other types of waves, like sound waves, where you need to have something to go ahead and propagate the energy to and go ahead and cause perturbations in order for you to hear it. Light is a different type of thing. So we went ahead and executed the Michelson interferometer experiments in the late 19th century, which essentially showed that no matter what the orientation is of the Earth during any time of the year, that we were always getting the same constant what do you call it, fringe patterns, which was essentially showing that at some point we would have been perpendicular to this ether, in which case we would get a slower than usual light speed, and that's what we thought we were going to get, but we didn't get that, which shows that ether is one of those things that we're actually able to go ahead and propagate no matter what the circumstances. So ether is not an actual thing. Though perhaps you're using it in more of a loose term, but if you're going to be using it in this way, it's not a thing. Beyond that, I do need a little bit more information, and a lot of this all comes down to credibility. I can do
No.
whatever. Hold on. So I can go ahead and state some. As I said, I can go in my room, smoke some dank ass kush, come back, have a bunch of hot equations, and it won't make fucking sense. But I can believe it myself. But the whole thing is peer review. If I go ahead and want to go ahead and explain my equations to people, and people go ahead and execute these equations and say, hey, this doesn't make sense, then it doesn't make sense. It's not actually replicable. It's not theoretically sound, etc. What is what portion of the scientific community is supporting anything that you believe?
I don't know.
So there might not necessarily be any form of, let's say, nature or Science Direct, any of these different places where we aggregate data on science that is peer reviewed that would go ahead and support your claims. So. For you, what makes you believe that these are correct? So you could say that it's your own research, but as far as I'm aware, you and neither do I have a postdoc in physics in which we're able to go ahead and actually peer review things ourselves. So what I like to do is go ahead and use things that have already are we Jesus Christing over the idea of peer review and scientific bodies accepting things?
Because consensus and peer review is intellectual evil. Consensus is not truth. Just because everyone agrees.
No, so there's a difference. Hold on. I don't believe that consensus is necessary.
It's the same thing.
There's no
thing. Just because
there's a difference between consensus. There's a difference between consensus and peer review.
Yeah, there is a difference.
So then why are we talking about consensus?
Just because people agree doesn't mean it's true. Steinmetz was a hunchback dwarf who was like all deformed when he was born. Who would have thought that the greatest mind ever would have come from that?
What does that mean?
Where's his credibility? He didn't have any, like all these people, these great geniuses, where's their formal education?
I'm sorry, does somebody's deformities somehow have something to do with whether or not they're able to go ahead and read a book? I'm a little bit confused.
Well, yeah, because some people actually believe in eugenics, and they actually wanted to kill him when he was born.
Am I a eugenicist?
No, some people do.
Great. It's irrelevant to what I'm talking about. So, what?
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, to some people, they wouldn't find him credible.
That's very nice. Am I some people? Because
yeah,
what I'm talking about,
the same thing to your official.
What I'm talking about right now, what I'm talking about is
shills.
peer review. What I'm talking about right now is peer review, and even if there were eugenicists, and whenever the time that this person was going ahead and doing things, that's not the case in which someone's going to go ahead and look at his equations now and say, he was deformed. Ayo, fuck that shit. Ooh, get that off my desk. That's not what. No, that's not a thing.
Yeah, because his shit works. Exactly.
But what qualifications do you have to know whether or not something works beyond the fact that you like it?
Hey, the reason why we're having this conversation right now is because of that dude.
Okay, so I was gonna make a joke, but I'm not gonna make that joke. Okay, I will think it real hard though. Okay, so just because great, like
this whole credibility thing is so stupid. Like it's just dumb.
So then, does that mean that I could theoretically just go ahead and pick up any ideas?
Some homeless man could say,
yes,
a homeless
great.
dude could say the most genius shit of all time. What does it matter? Like, you're putting terms on what genius is? That's like you're trying to act like, it's comes from this ivory tower. Truth and genius. That's so dumb.
I'm not saying ivory tower. Like I'm.
Yes, you are. You're saying peer review by people who
I'm historically not from the background in which people want to go ahead and hear scientific information from. So I don't know what you're talking about. Ivory tower. There's no ivory tower that I'm coming from, and I'm not saying that I want to.
You literally just said, I don't have a PhD, so I'm not qualified to do peer review.
Yes, and you are objectively not able to go ahead and do peer review. And
so because I don't have a PhD, I don't understand something?
I didn't say you don't understand. I said that you can't peer review it.
Oh, okay.
So what I'm saying is that if you go ahead and read a document, if you go ahead and say, Travis believes this is real into the scientific community, that's going to mean fuck all. But that doesn't mean that you're not able to read it. And that just means that your stamp of approval is not going to mean anything. But if you really believe in something, you can go ahead and take that document yourself, bring it over to your local university that has a postdoc there, and you can have that person peer review it for you. And they will go ahead and say that this is peer reviewed, and they were able to go ahead and replicate the studies. So that's what I'm asking for. I'm not saying that you're not able to go ahead and be literate and read. I'm saying that you don't have the qualification. What? There are experiments that are required for everything that you can't just say that I believe something.
Okay.
And there is nothing that goes in it.
Slowing down and then speeding back up.
It doesn't slow down and speed back up unless you're talking. Okay, you're talking about refraction.
Yes, it does.
Okay, so that's due to
the speed of light slows down in water.
That's due to index of refraction.
How do you know this slows down? This probably not, please. Go ahead.
Because they measure it, but it just perturbates slower in water. That's why it slows down.
Yes, that's called index of refraction. Congratulations. That's how mediums work.
Okay, so what happened to conservation of energy? This emission of particles slows down and then speeds back up again?
Uh,
Huh?
what?
Yeah, exactly. What?
No, I'm.
It doesn't work.
That's not the way that
How
because
are
because
uh,
that's not the way that light's energy is calculated. It's not calculated by its velocity when you're talking about the energy of light. When it comes to electromagnetic waves, the equation that you use in that case is going to be E equals hf, which is E equals the Planck's constant times its frequency. If well, the whole point is that it's trying to maintain its frequency. When it's going ahead and slowing down in the medium, it's maintaining its frequency. Thus, it's maintaining the energy that it has. But this is tangential. What we're trying to get to here is whether or not the people that you are going
Sorry.
ahead and believing their information, if on what basis are you believing it? Are you believing it because you like it? Are you believing it because you read it and this is what makes sense? Are you believing it because somebody told you it made sense? Are you believing it because someone that has a physics degree read it and said this makes sense? Are you believing it because what do you call it? Stephen Hawking, those were his last words.
All
He
right, I
said,
get
"Make
it.
sure you read, Tesla." Now, on what basis are you believing
Well,
this information?
I don't trust anybody to tell me what the truth is. So I just look at things for myself. I don't if anybody says anything, I don't just believe it. I actually look at what they're saying, the actual science, and it actually makes sense. It's not that
So
like
okay, all right. Okay, so
Yeah, exactly.
can
let's
we go
try
back
this
to
because
the Earth is still
no. This
flat?
is important. No, because this part is important, right? To talking about these sources, right? Because it's something you've brought up many times, right? Talking about how the mainstream is untrustworthy, right? Mainstream science is untrustworthy for
Oh
conspiracy
yeah.
reasons, right? Okay, fair enough, right? And so
Yeah,
she
I'm ready.
is talking about
I
your
see it.
sources, right? So you're saying
Okay.
that, like, and we brought this up previously, right?
I
That it. Hold on,
okay. All
So,
right, sorry.
you no problem, no problem. That when she was talking about like her calculations in terms like the circumference of the Earth or the curvature and all that stuff, right?
Mhm.
Because you
I actually
couldn't
do better on
verify the
one-on-ones.
inputs, right? You also couldn't verify the output, right? Um, and so now the
Also,
some of the
thank you.
inputs
Thank
that
you very much.
Katana
Thank you very
is
much,
using are coming
bitters.
from sources that she trusts, that she feels are validated.
I
Right?
was trying to be
So,
nice, but
and you're saying those sources cannot be trusted for your reasons.
Yeah.
On the other side of it, what she's trying to asking you, how can you trust your
Okay.
sources?
Right.
So you're
Okay.
saying that, and one last thing, right? You're saying that you can look at the science, right, yourself,
Uh-huh.
and understand these things. But you yourself said that
mhm,
no one can understand, for instance,
I got
Steinmetz's
you.
equation. So how are you knowing that this person, right, and
Uh-huh.
his teachings, and on the other people, how are you understanding that
Okay.
they are people you
Shit.
can trust? Go
Yeah,
ahead,
one sec.
please.
Um I would basically equate it to like feats. So like if you're gonna like
Oh shit.
say like how strong
Damn.
a fictional character is, like Superman or whatever, you'd be like, oh, Superman can like lift up a fucking plane or whatever. So he's this strong. Same thing with scientists. If a scientist did something great, you'd be like, oh, this guy's probably pretty credible if he like discovered something, some secret, whatever. Same thing with like Steinmetz. The reason why anybody has electricity is because of that dude. That's a feat. Now, with Ken Wheeler, um, he's literally a monster. He like discovered Pythagoras's hidden secret of sacred geometry, like the only sacred geometry in
Ooh.
the entire universe, which was hidden in Plato's book. It took him like 10 years to figure it out. He like discovered that.
Ooh.
Um, he can actually he explained magnetism. He's like the world leader on Buddhist doctrine. He's just like a super genius guy. Like he's a beast at like a bunch of different shit.
And
Same thing. Like
mm.
okay,
Oh no, I was just gonna say, and just for the audience, sacred geometry is like basically these divine equations
yeah.
found throughout nature
There's only
that
one.
from God.
There's only
Oh,
one of them.
okay, it's like the golden rule, basically, right? The
Yeah.
golden
Yeah.
ratio.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, So, okay, sure, go ahead, please. I didn't mean to interrupt, Judge. I just want to make sure everyone knew what you meant by sacred geometry. But please go ahead.
But yeah, so Ken Wheeler literally uploads videos giving you the mainstream model, like telling you why it doesn't work, and then telling you what it actually is, and explaining all of it. Showing you, I don't know, bringing up pictures, bringing up experiments, whatever. Same thing. I don't know. It's like
So
it's not that
okay.
crazy. If
Okay,
you actually
sure, sure,
watched
sure.
his,
No,
okay,
and I'm sure they're amazing, right? But if Katarana, if she pointed you to other videos that claim to counteract your videos, right? The videos
yeah,
that you have, how
uh-huh,
would you tell between the two which one
okay,
is correct?
because Ken Wheeler, he literally does things in a
Okay,
way to
he
where
has like
he's
2 people that
already
he.
addressing every single counter argument. Like he literally smashes quantum physics. And he's like, well, they say this, they say this, they say this. He literally brings up every
Stop.
single counter argument and why it doesn't work. So it's like there is no counter arguments. He already crushes all of it. He
Okay,
tells you like,
so within science, it's not science is not a debate. It's not a place in which we go ahead and have these. Actually, what the International Aeronautical Congress is me and Elon just fucking arguing until whoever has the best rhetoric wins. That's not the way. There's no smashing when it comes
you're
to
right. Yeah.
science. That's not the
No, there is a
platform in which we do
smashing.
these
There is a
things.
smashing because
Scientists don't
Einstein.
fuck. Scientists don't fuck. No,
No,
sorry, go. I
no,
No,
apologize.
it's
Einstein.
true. No, that's just like that's not a thing. The way that
It
people
is.
typically go. Great. I can't wait to see the last conference you've gone to, such as I don't know, IAC or
Why would it's
the
like
medical.
it's like
Just
all
any of
right.
these things where you went there and you got, you stood up in front of the whole room and you said, "Hey, yo, fuck what you gotta say. I know the best." And like that went well for you. Let me know how that goes. What it typically goes like in actual, scientific areas
So
is that if somebody goes ahead and produces a paper and you don't believe those results, you'll go ahead and replicate that experiment and you'll go ahead and produce a counter argument. You'll give a counter paper, and then in which case you will disseminate to the people that went ahead and had cited yours. In which case we'll go ahead and think about, oh, does that make sense, etc. But still, this is still a little bit of a tangent, and I think what is the most important here is, is your person essentially somebody that they fucking smash everybody, but nobody can actually
Ken
go
Wheeler?
around. Yeah,
Ken Wheeler built anti-gravity, by the way.
but
He built anti-gravity, but yeah, go ahead.
I would
Try
love
to
to
call
know
him
what
dumb though.
I would love to know what you think that is.
Uh-huh.
But I'm trying to figure out, like, is this just somebody that goes around refuting what everybody has to say, and then in turn, nobody actually has
So
ever
you don't know
peer
who he is,
reviewed?
and you don't know what you're talking about, but you're arguing
But
against him like he's some
okay,
dude who just talks shit.
no. What I'm
Yeah.
trying to figure out is he peer reviewed? What journal has he been in? What is his scientific rating score? There's different scores, the best, the most influential people in the
Yeah.
field have scores of this rate. What's his
Well,
score in the market? How
hey,
many accolades does he have under his name?
quite a lot. A
Oh,
shit
okay.
ton, actually.
And if it's
Like
the
an
Flat Earth Society,
No, he thinks it's a ball. He thinks it's a ball.
Oh.
He's like the smartest dude, I think.
okay,
But I
and
think he's
your-
wrong about it, though.
and your metric to go ahead and decide who the smartest dude is, and then I'm sure it's lovely. I don't care about what your superlative and subjective ideas of what the smartest person is. What I want to know is, what does the scientific community think of him? Because what you think of him is
All
just
right.
tangential and unimportant to me.
Okay.
So
Okay. Is building anti-gravity subjective?
I'm
like, oh,
sure, and I'm sure he. That's great.
Uh-huh.
That's lovely. What I'm asking is, when it comes to the things that you're speaking about, how
So
is
it's
it
literally
peer
on
review-
video. He built anti-gravity.
I don't care.
He's full of shit.
I don't care if he did.
Okay.
Because just because you're able to do one thing doesn't mean that you're able to do the other. I can go ahead and cook up mad
Uh-huh.
pasta, but it doesn't mean I'm building a fucking car tomorrow. So it doesn't matter. This is tangential,
Well,
and it's not
he's
related.
also a genius at he knows like everything about philosophy too. Like he's not some idiot that you're gonna come and trounce. He's literally
Amazing.
Gonna, like annihilate. He can annihilate you
Beautiful.
and your whole like clan. Really wipe you out.
Yes,
He'll wipe you out like
ooh,
a
I can't wait until he
Look
lawn
at the
mows
Okay.
over me. It might be an
Okay.
interesting weekend for me. But what I'm trying to figure out is, what
He's-
are his credentials?
No, he already told you. My scientist can beat up your scientist.
Yeah, he's
so-
the QB.
Wow. All right. So I'm not sure we're getting anywhere.
Wait, just let me say one thing about him though. He invented anti-gravity. The only dude to explain magnetism. He's He's the forefront mind on
What is
It's
anti?
always
You're gonna have to
sexual.
tell. What is you? Someone
Okay,
has
It's
okay.
always
created an
This is
anti-gravity
another
sexual.
machine.
Yeah.
I don't think that's
Dude,
true.
I'm
the
torqued.
video he made is fucking hilarious because he's showing it to you and he's like telling a story. He's like, hey, if somebody did create anti-gravity, because he doesn't want to say he did it, and he literally says in the video, he's like, well, this person would have sent designs to several people, so if something were to happen to this person, plans would be taken. But anyways,
Okay, sure.
what
So
anti-gravity actually
I have
is?
another video. I have another video, right?
Yeah, I'll tell.
Where individuals, right, levitate objects. I have a video where people
Look, there's a video of
It
that.
depends on how they do it, though.
Is it open
Okay.
source?
Well, they
No,
stretch out
he's
their
hiding it. He's hiding
They
it.
channel something
But like
called
he
the
did it, bro.
Force.
Don't worry about it.
Mm-hmm.
My
And
dad
they
also
lift
went to.
the
He helped build
objects, like, from the
Antarctica.
ground.
I can't
Is
find
that
it on the
also where
internet, but
they're
like,
flying around in space and the Earth is a ball too?
but like,
Don't
might
might
be
be
cartoons,
might be
right?
proof.
oh, he did
Anyways,
it.
hold on though.
No,
Ooh,
no,
he did
but
it though.
hold on. But I'm
gonna
saying.
address it. I'm gonna address it.
So hold on. So in the video. So in this video, are you saying that he
He explains what it is.
Oh no, he's oh okay. Oh okay.
Here's what I'll tell you what it is.
I understand. I'm trying to understand you. So
Okay.
he simply explains that he has a machine,
No,
or
he,
some sort of contraption, but you don't actually see it.
no, he shows it to you. He's like,
No, he
it's
shows you
yeah.
anti-gravity.
It's like
I
a little-
have
it's like a little
100-mile
hoverboard thing.
bridge to
It's
tell
crazy.
you. Oh,
So we
But
have-
he saw that video of
Lord.
the UFO that the Navy released, and he like explained how it works. He's like, well, there's like two ways it works. He's like, well, I only remember one of them, but it's how the
Okay,
anti-gravity
so-
he made
so-
works.
no,
Oh wait,
I'm
quick
sorry.
thing. Do you
I'm
guys?
sorry.
Do you
Okay.
mind if? Do you mind giving me three?
And
Oh,
I'll be done.
Do you mind
I
giving
just-
me 3 seconds? I'm just gonna step away from my desk, but I can still hear you.
Okay, sure. I'm just curious, friend, because you're saying other videos that are showing these things are fake, right?
No,
Showing,
I'm not
the
saying they're fake.
pictures of the Earth are fake.
Well, they are though.
Okay, but the one
No,
you're
but the one
talking
that
about
he
is real.
has Is
How
real.
can we
Yeah.
tell the difference between the two?
No. The one that
The difference
he
is
has
that
is real.
every time you see curvature, it's from a fisheye lens, and it's also for CGI. It's either CGI or fisheye lens.
Sure. What about the
Even Neil
other guy,
deGrasse.
this Wheeler's video? Why?
It's literally him in his house showing it to you.
So
And it's the same
that
shit
is-
Bob Lazar
So
saw.
you can understand that people can do various tricks that can either be not explaining properly, like the phenomenon they're trying to show you, or
Yeah,
they
it
can
could be
just
Travis
use
is
bullshit.
dead ass.
It could
Okay,
be.
so then how
He's
can you
dead
tell?
ass right now.
Circumstantial evidence, the fact that he's a genius on several other fronts, and he's like, the
So-
forefront mind on
so-
a bunch of shit.
Sure. Okay.
And
But
he also
there's
explains gravity and like
but
what it
there's
actually
also,
is.
Wait, there's also thousands of individuals who work in these agencies, right? These
Just look at
universities,
memes.
space agencies, and whatnot. All who say, and who have various ways of showing, right, that their model, the spherical model, is correct. So again, how can you tell the difference?
They don't
right?
though. They don't really have evidence.
How do you know? Oh, no.
Okay.
But there is evidence. The video.
Here's how you know. Yeah. Here's how you know. If you look at the pictures NASA shows you, for example, like you take 100 of those pictures and you put them all next to each other, all of them look different, and they look different fundamentally, and it's because they're not actual photographs. They're done by an artist, and it's called the Blue Marble. This artist takes data from satellites and puts it around a ball. It's a CGI rendition. It's literally a fucking cartoon. And even Neil deGrasse Tyson said, you know that video of the dude
Yeah.
jumping from space? Yeah, even Neil deGrasse Tyson said, yeah, that's not curvature, that's a fisheye lens.
So that part I don't know that part you're referring to. Are you referring to and maybe I'm wrong, but are you referring to the fact that there's no camera that can take the full picture of the Earth and then they take different pictures and stitch them together? Is that what you're talking about? From
Yeah,
NASA.
but
Is that what you're referring to?
they're just
So
they're
they
just
were
lying though, because they're
and how are these pictures fundamentally different? If you could explain that.
because there's like different colors, size, and shapes of continents. There's like repeating cloud patterns. It's literally like they're like fucking with you. There's literally drawings. Like if you look at those pictures, there's people who break them down. Like go look at the pictures of the Earth from space and just look at them. Like look at them next to each other. They look so different. It's ridiculous. They aren't photographs. They're literally CGI cartoons done by an artist. Also, there is like You can't see curvature from satellites. It doesn't matter.
Where do you want to go with this? I mean, like, where are we going from here? Because right now we're getting like into the region where I say, "What's your like? Are these peer reviewed?" And he said, "I don't need peer review." And then it's like, okay, well, nice. Okay, so now what?
I was actually just being highly entertained.
I can tell.
Exactly.
Especially when it comes to Smash.
I was laughing so hard that like my cheeks.
Yeah. Honestly, I think I might just have to start hosting the show. But yeah,
everyone wants to hear about flat Earth. No one wants to hear the approved like horseshit on the internet. Like if you go to flat Earth, you type in flat Earth on YouTube. It's the most shadow banned shit on the internet. Flat Earth is so shadow banned, it's ridiculous. When you type in flat Earth, all the approved science videos come up. All the bullshit. It's literally the most. Why do they care about shadow banning it so much? Why is there fake flat earthers who are literally there to make flat Earth look stupid? There's literally disinfo flat earthers.
It's irrelevant to
literally
whether or not the Earth is flat. So where are we going?
I don't know.
It's just circumstantial.
If you want to continue the debate or not, that's.
I mean, is it a debate? When
do you have any evidence or? You haven't produced any evidence, so.
And bro, your YouTube videos are real good. But like beyond that,
they're very good.
If you don't want to continue the debate, it's fine. It's
no! I can be here until the end of time. I ain't got a date. I'm just trying to figure out if whether or not I don't know. I'm not sure if it's up to you.
No, it's fine.
Just I guess if you could just recenter because I think right now.
Oh, you want me to recenter? Yes, that's what you're asking. Okay, sure. It's just so much.
But could we figure out a little bit as in like who's they all the time? Like they don't want us to know.
The people who push. The people who push the heliocentric model were the shit. I don't want to. Fuck. Well, the people who also hide the secrets about where we live. The Vatican Library. The Catholic Church is responsible for pushing the heliocentric model and the whole ball Earth model. Also NASA, which was founded by Nazis, and their logo literally has a serpent
so
stump. It's satanic cults.
Let's talk a little bit about that. So you do realize the Galileo was literally prosecuted or like had problems as a result of him bringing forth the heliocentric model. So yeah, why
as it should be.
Great.
Because they know what you're trying to do with that. If you say the Earth is a ball,
honestly,
if you say the Earth is a ball,
you know what?
Like,
the Church of 1400 was really known for scientific methods, but beyond
history, the people in history were so stupid, right? They were just so not advanced.
this is a moment in history, so let's see. But anyways, I just
I guess time will tell, huh?
Beyond that though, like what exactly what does the Catholic Church have to go ahead and gain from
well, if you
especially since they initially were not
NASA
wanting that's the NASA logo and the Catholic Church are the same thing.
The NASA logo has a serpent's tongue in it. One of the biggest telescopes in the world, a Vatican-owned telescope, is called Lucifer. And it's an acronym.
So is NASA?
You know the Catholic how they were hiding all those.
Secretly, America loves Catholics, and America's a Catholic country, and we are very.
Basically, they're called the black nobility.
I don't know
people
what
who
that
run
means.
The world. It's these Italian families that have run the world. They're basically like I don't know, the people who fucking own you and your soul. The Vatican, they own the Vatican. They own like you're literally a debt slave. If you look up,
it's like a
like you owe
Italian
like on behalf. It's called it's all maritime law because it's citizenship. But if you look up how much like since the U.S. owes money, the U.S. owes like whatever how many trillions. You actually owe money to the people that we owe, but it's because you're a part of their shit, which you can actually get out of it.
I don't. So what exactly?
They literally own you.
So
they literally own you.
So I'm gonna close my eyes, and now I'm a flat earther. Am I unowned? Like, am I now not a part of the system?
At least spiritually, at least you know that we're in the center of the universe, and this place is divine, and God is real.
And that changes fuck all for me. How?
It's from within. It doesn't change your actual material life.
Okay, great.
But it allows you not to self-destruct because you think life isn't pointless anymore. The whole point of that shit is to make you feel like there's no point to life. The whole point of lying
Can
about
you
infinite space and
explain
all
to
that.
me how life suddenly becomes somehow more purposeful just because I live on a flat plane and everything revolves
Okay.
around me?
If no, okay, if we're in a flat plane with a dome, that means we're in a
Yeah,
place that was
please, everyone,
designed
please
for
stop.
us.
We don't
If
need
we're
to
on
be
a
here for
ball,
this.
that means all
Thank you,
life was
guys.
here by chance and
This has
luck,
been
and
great.
there's just a bunch of other life, and we're just not special at all. And the way our bodies are structured, all that shit, it's just random and due to chance and luck.
Okay,
And
so
there's other aliens with different body structures that are.
could I
All right.
not technically go ahead and still believe that everything's divine in a
You
heliocentric
could, but that's
globe
why
thing?
the
And that's literally
you
like the
could,
church goes around and
but
it tells you you had 7 days
no,
and God made me
no.
after His image and the ribs
You
and
could, you could believe that, but the reason why it's way less likely because if the Earth is a ball and all this shit, it means that the world is chaotic, and it means that life and the way it is now was formed by luck and chance. It wasn't set up here, and we're not in something that was designed for us. The Earth was
So
all set up, and it's by luck and chance,
can,
which is
can I can I
yeah.
ask you? So I've heard this before, and I've heard this from people who are religious as well. But so you seem to be focused on this thing that the world was set up for us, or existence was set up for us, specifically, right? And that
Yeah.
you specifically said the word
Can it be?
special. It makes us special and unique, right? Um, why do you feel the need that life has to be your life has to be special or unique? It, like, would
Because
you
we're
still not be
okay.
you? Would you still
Oh, this
not
is
be
good.
you? And if the evolutionary model were
Guys, we're
true,
totally
and
gonna
the
do
and the
we'll do
spiritual
a post mortem.
model was
We'll
true,
do
you'd
it.
still be Travis or whatever your actual name is, right? So what would be the difference? Why is this
The
important?
difference would be that the way we are
Thank you,
arose
all the
as
follows and
adaptations to the
everybody that's
environment,
like
not that
just
our
sitting
bodies
here
are
and
actually
supporting
divine
this.
structure. And the reason why it actually does matter is because we're all the same image. Even if if you're a person that eats cake and doesn't give a shit about yourself, how are you going to give a shit about anybody else when you don't care about your own self? We're all the same image. When you disgrace yourself, you're disgracing the image that everyone is.
Okay, all right. So eating cake disgraces your body.
No, I just mean like it being unhealthy intentionally and doing like I don't know bad shit.
So being fat
Humiliation, shame,
would
just
being
shameful
overweight
shit.
be being overweight be
Well,
bad?
it's unhealthy. I mean, I don't know. It doesn't like you can be overweight and it's not like I don't know, but it's just
Okay, so a lot of the whole reason
like
why
self love.
in your framework, the only reason why we're going ahead and having our models where things are circular is literally just because the church hates God, and we want to take God out of everything. And the church is actually the Catholic Church is secretly Satanist, and
Hey, watch
NASA
out!
was founded by Nazis, and somehow, even if that's true, that discredits the science somehow.
No, the science it only works on a flat plane, all of it. Then you look in the history of it, and it's like, oh shit, Satanists are the reason why we believe it's a ball in the first place. And
Okay,
ball, by the way,
I
is
once
also
again,
the
I just
devil.
don't.
B-A.
That's very special and very uwu. I still don't understand necessarily like what is the net game because me sitting here as an atheist,
The
it's
net
a flat
game.
plane,
Okay,
I'm
here's
still
what it
an
is.
atheist.
We haven't talked.
So Travis,
Yeah, he might have cut off.
yeah, Travis, we can't hear you if you're still talking. You're still connected. Um, your audio cut out. Um, so hopefully Travis will get back to us. He might have disconnected.
He
Um,
imagine he like
might
forced
be the
disconnected.
Catholic Church striking back. Um, I don't know. Could be.
It's the serpents came in. Beautiful.
Serpents came. But we're waiting. I do want Travis to be able to come back and make his points. So hopefully, sometimes it takes a while for people to disconnect and
They
reconnect.
they
So yeah. Uh, I'm just having fun with this. I'm doing my best.
it's apparent and I hate it.
Me, it bothers you.
Everybody's happiness bothers me.
Okay, fair enough. This is true about her. I know. But she's not actually fucking around. But yeah, hopefully gets. Yeah, I think he's disconnected. Hold on, let me try to disconnect him here. See if I can. Okay, maybe he'll reconnect soon. Hopefully. And
Postmortem,
I'll send him a
postmortem,
message. I'll
postmortem,
send him a message from
postmortem.
Discord. But this has already been magical. So
This
hold
is
on.
more than I could have ever asked for.
Yeah.
Got him.
Just there.
No, I'm sure he'll come back. I don't think he'll be back.
So I sent him a DM, everyone. So hopefully he can respond. So I thought it was interesting. And
I'm
I'll
sure you
just
did.
didn't you? This was great. This is amazing. I hope you found this interesting. This is fast. So other people are hey everyone. So we'll have time after this, right? So we're gonna have time after this. We'll have people come on, and we'll have a discussion about what's happened. Right? We'll see if Travis can come back. If he can't come back, then we'll skip ahead to that. And it won't be like a full panel because I'm not sure if I want to deal with everybody. But I'll bring in some people and we can talk, right? And we can discuss this. So don't worry. People are DMing me, telling me, "Oh, correct this record." We can just do that in a second. First, I'm going to give Travis a moment to come back and to defend himself. But while we're waiting, so I found this. I'm saying I found this fucking fascinating. All right, so counter space, right? Remember, when you cut open the brain, there's no information, there's no thoughts, right? There's not like a film, like a film reel in your head, right? That has like all your memories. It's not there. And you smash open your computer, like there's no information, right? Like my porn, like there's nothing there, right? So this exists in counter space, is what I'm understanding. And that's where all this is being retrieved from. And I found it interesting that counter space thing doesn't like retract like magnetism in terms of like for instance computers and how like a hard drive works, right? Like those two things, like magnetism is its own separate thing.
Why are you encouraging this?
No, I mean this is fascinating.
Okay, I also find fairy tales to be very fascinating. If you want, I can go pull up Snow White. I can read it on stream for you. We can talk about dwarves and everything. Why are you propagating this?
I'm not propagating it. No, I'm saying this is fucking ridiculous.
Okay.
Ridiculous.
Okay, that's fine. I can live with that.
Yeah, I want to make it very clear. This is all I find. This is why I'm laughing so much. This is and just to update Travis, their phone died, and he says he can make it back in 5 minutes. So we'll give him that time. Yeah. So now understanding that like there are biological processes, right, that encodes our memories, right? Doesn't understand that it's actually theories of actual magnetism, not this made up counter space magnetism. That these things. That hard drives work, right? So like because he's literally cannot see the thing called the memory, so he can't see it. He doesn't believe it's there. Like it must be some sort of I don't know sure what he even thinks it looks like in the other space. I would love to from them to tell us, but like within counter space, all these things exist. These things that you can't see with your eye. Fascinating. I think. There's just so much more to dig into here.
Dude, get ready. I'm next stream. I'm gonna break over open my hard drive, and we're gonna sit there and pick out the photos. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. So again, to everyone else, we'll probably wrap this up soon. Let's say we'll wrap it up.
To you guys.
In 15 or so minutes, right? So we'll give them 5 minutes to get back, 10 minutes to wrap up, and we'll spend some time talking to other people, trying to work this out, right? So that'll be fun. I mean, wow.
Why would I?
Yeah. Do you think he was? Oh, I see what you're saying. You think he was just using his phone as an analogy and not thinking that? Well, we can ask him. Maybe I was incorrect. Maybe
no way it was an analogy.
He does understand how hard drives work, and maybe he was just using that example. Okay.
Wait for it.
for
Neither of
gravity.
you
Okay,
guys.
that might be. Everything was so ridiculous, so it was
Oh,
hard for me
sorry,
to
that didn't
tell
fucking
to
work.
like
What the hell?
pick one ridiculous thing from
Guys,
another
go to
ridiculous thing.
discord.gg. It'll be
But
fine. One cycle.
this is fascinating. But hopefully he comes back. 'Cause again, I do want him to be able to defend himself. But it is just too funny for me to I don't know.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
There you go.
This is so. What are your thoughts on counter space? Because I think that's part of the problem is that you didn't get him to define. And I'm not blaming you. I'm saying just like it didn't happen. He didn't actually define his understanding of space previously, right? And gravity. Because if you did know what he thought of gravity, would your strategy have been different?
The whole point of understanding gravity was just to go ahead and start off with the oceans. Beyond that, I don't really think gravity would have been a major player in the conversation. And it's not like his ideas on gravity were monumental and would have somehow made me think that his ideas were suddenly better.
No, no, I'm just saying how to convince him though, because
Um,
his model is completely different. So what you're saying, right? Like you trying to convince him the with actual science, right? Would be different. At least I would think it would be different if you understood that his model is so wildly alien that you guys
I,
aren't.
I think what was probably more helpful was when we got down to the fact that peer review doesn't matter. Um, because I think that's more important to know is that my scientists hit your scientists real bad, bro. Quantum physics destroyed with facts and logic. I think, and then not having any follow up as to what the credentials were probably the more important part in understanding how exactly to go about this. Because um, yeah, I think there was just some things that weren't translating, and I was trying to be as non-confrontational as possible. In the sense that I recognize that flat earthers are probably used to people saying that you're dumb, haha, it's so stupid, globe, globe good. And I was trying to go about it in a more friendly way, but as soon as I heard peer review doesn't matter, then we're like, okay, okay, different strategy then, let's go.
Yeah. Again, hopefully we'll be back soon. And he said 5 minutes. So 5 minutes is almost up. But well, anyway, we'll give him a little bit of time. I want him to be able to wrap things up. Okay. He's saying he sent me a message saying okay. Um.
Dude, my scientists
Uh.
beat up your scientists in a fight last week. Don't worry about it.
Okay. Get that. I'm waiting room. So hopefully this person will be here. Oh, there it is. All right. So we're bringing him back in.
Oh, can't wait. So happy.
Here you go, Travis. Thanks for rejoining us. We understand you
Yeah.
have technical issues.
I
Okay.
almost said, right, like my phone cut off right before I was about to say the scariest shit.
What's the scariest shit?
Everything.
All right. I didn't want to talk about it, but it's Dr. Carol Rosin, the girl who was taking care of Werner von Braun when he was dying. She talked about it. Bill Cooper, he talked about this. So what Bob Lazar saw also. The reason why they want to fake infinite space and all that shit, like the infinite universe and all that stuff, is because they want to fake an alien invasion. So they're basically planting all this evidence of aliens and trying to make it look like they're covering it up, when really they're the ones planting it. And Werner von Braun, and you could watch Dr. Carol Rosin say all this shit. She literally said he would not stop telling me, talking about Werner von Braun, he would not stop telling me that the final conflict or the final card will be a fake alien invasion. Bill Cooper, he used to work for the Office of Naval Intelligence, and basically he was leaking shit about aliens. He was like looking at these documents. He's like, holy shit, they're hiding stuff about aliens, all this stuff. And then he
Girl, I'm
came to
so
the
happy that you stayed up for
conclusion
this.
that they were letting him leak shit about aliens because they're the ones planning it. And they shot him in front of his house because he was talking too much. But yeah, that's basically the end game, is the fake alien attack to unite the world under one world government and one world currency. Major shit happening, probably in the next 10 years, but...
Okay.
Who's they again? Are we still talking about the Catholic Church?
I would say it's probably Probably Germans,
Oh.
if it came down to it.
Oh,
The
Because
he
they're.
said J, and then he said German. So
I would. I don't know. There's a bunch of theory. It's
he
either
said
they got to be
Germans.
satanic either way.
That's hilarious.
I don't know. It's the Catholic Church is
He said
involved. Um,
Germans.
I just feel like I don't know. I feel like Germans are like super smart. So if anybody's gonna like pull off some crazy shit, I don't know. Like I don't know. I feel like Germans, since Nazis founded NASA, and, I don't know. But without a doubt, they're evil as fuck, though.
Okay, so just the Germans are evil as fuck in general.
No, not. No,
Okay,
no.
that's no. Okay, so NASA and the
Hey,
Catholic.
well, oh yeah. Well,
oh.
no. Certain people who are in satanic cults, which I saw a video of this woman talking about
I saw a video.
how she was at this satanic event, this satanic ritual, and there's like a VIP room with all these like people, and they basically like took a pregnant woman on stage and like killed her and stuff. Is it like you can't
There's a
talk?
video
Is it like TOS to say like talk about killing people and stuff?
No,
People-
I mean,
Dude,
Okay.
I saw a
death,
video
it's
where
fine.
someone told us
Not
that
as long
Okay.
as it's not encouraging it, of course.
Okay. So this woman talked about how she was at the satanic cult, and they
Guys, I
murdered
saw a
this
video
pregnant woman, like took her baby out and stuff, and like
where
did some
somebody
weird shit. And then they took these kids who are between the ages of like 8 and 10, hypnotized,
said,
brought a bunch of them out on a stage, and then some dude with a samurai sword like decapitated them basically. And then like all these people just had an orgy, and like
I'm
this
sorry,
woman was
somebody saw there's a video where someone said that this is what they saw.
yes, and she's in the room years later, like describing what happened. Like she was like pointing, like, "Oh, over here, this happened," and she was literally saying, she was like, one of the guys took one of the kids'
Wha-
heads and held it up to my face.
Why
And-
is
and-
somebody saying that they saw something any form of credibility?
Well, I mean, she's just saying this. I mean, you can choose to believe her or not, but she
But
literally
why are
starts like
but why are
crying when
you
she said it. Like,
choosing to believe it?
because shit like that is actually real. People just don't want to believe it.
Great, but why are you choosing to believe it? We all think that things are real, but what makes this person's recalling of an activity necessary?
What made it
why
seem
is so
real to
credible?
me was it's not so credible, but what I believed it, or the reason why I believed it was because she there's a part in the video where she talks about one guy picking up one of the kids' heads that's like
so
just
really quick. I'm sorry
Uh-huh.
to keep on interrupting you, but so your whole thing is that like I don't believe things unless I have videos and pictures. But she doesn't even have
No,
a video
no,
of
no.
this. This is her saying
No.
that I saw something
That's-
and she's recalling why this is like.
yeah.
Why is this? It's not video proof that it was happening. Why is her recollection so credible? What the fuck? This is so dumb.
I don't know. Maybe she's full of shit.
Can-
But it seemed
I can
real
live with
because she literally like she describes how some dude held up a kid's head
German.
in front of her and ordered her to take a bite out of it, and she starts crying and saying like she did it, and like I don't know, just the way she like described it, and I don't know, it's just fucking.
So
It seemed
have you-
real to me.
Okay, so you do realize that people can go ahead and repeat the same story for enough time, in which case they're able to convince themselves that it's a
Okay,
real
but
thing, yeah?
what story would you believe of a satanic cult doing some shit like that? Like you only believe it if there's video evidence.
You're the one that was Mr. Video Evidence and Photos. I don't know why you're...
No,
Why?
no,
Who is he talking to?
no.
Come on, dude, Travis, come on, please, on this one point.
The video evidence thing.
Literally, we've been here 3 hours. You've been demanding video proof of everything. You're saying
Memes.
like if you don't have video proof, then it's not proof.
Jameen.
And so now you're telling us you don't have video proof of this thing actually happening. Only a witness, a supposed witness to this thing.
Yeah. Which I mean, there's something called expert testimonial or witnesses, but it's not even that. It's not
That's
even that.
not. That's not expert testimony. That's not expert testimony. What you're
Well,
describing
I mean,
is
yeah,
not-
she's not an expert. She was horrified, but
Is this a
but the
court?
reason I don't just believe things if there's video evidence. I believe things based on a bunch of different shit, like circumstantial evidence. Like there's no video of people saying that they're trying to fake an alien invasion, but there's I don't know. Werner
what
von
about
Braun.
math?
There's also
What about math being part of that evidence, right? What about like creating a computer model, right? Like I mean like a mathematical computer model, not just like a graphics, but like a
Yeah.
mathematical computer model
Das Vidania.
that explains how things are happening. Like, wouldn't that also be evidence then?
Fucking
Like
suka blit,
like
you
maybe
know?
some of the things that Katarana's been saying.
Well, math isn't really evidence; it's theory. It can be true, but it doesn't mean like just because there's math that exists, it doesn't mean it is true.
Okay, sure.
Like just because that woman said that, I don't think it's like
But
100% without a doubt that it's true, but it just seems likely to me. It seems real.
okay, sure. But there are also
Because I think
experiments
it is.
and evidence in terms of photographs, right?
Feels before reels, but you know.
Okay,
Sure.
let's just okay, with the flat Earth thing, it's like it really does. It comes down to the fact that there's like not really any evidence to support heliocentrism, and also the
Okay,
argument
yeah.
that was brought up first.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yep. No,
the
please go
argument
ahead.
that was brought up first actually completely smashes it. Like the whole notion of
Smash.
oceans wrapped around like conforming to the exterior of a sphere due to this force. It doesn't work at all. Um,
All right. Well,
Also, like our air touching a vacuum.
no, we got it.
Yeah,
Okay, so I think we're good.
yeah.
So
Hey,
and to my audience, what's going to happen is we're
Samantha!
going to go to
It's so
um
good.
like a different panel. Not like I'm not sure if it's gonna be an open panel. I might just pick and choose people to bring on. I don't want to do like a whole like 12-person thing on this thing, right? But so I'll bring in a few others to talk specifically about this. So the stream was not ending. We're going to continue on after this, so
Stream's
just
ending.
be aware of that.
Not mine, his.
And if you're enjoying this, hit that follow button right now. But okay,
If
I'm
you
going to give you
enjoy my
all. I'm
pain,
going to
hit
give
that
both
follow
an
button.
outro and a
If
chance
you
to
want me to go
say a
ahead
final
and
comments on this.
pay
So I'll
for
start
the
with
therapy after this,
Travis, and I'll go to Katana.
hit the subs.
all right.
Travis, please.
I just want to say I don't believe that conspiracy theory bullshit. I don't kill me. Also, it's flat, but I also don't believe that. So yeah.
What?
Oh wait, one more thing.
Did he just say that he doesn't believe
Uh,
Earth is flat? Is this memes and dreams?
Man, I don't know if I should say this. I feel like I'm not gonna say it. It's fine. Go
I'm
ahead.
curious. What is it?
God damn it. Well, I'm just gonna bring up. You know what? It's fine. Just fucking whatever.
No, go ahead. You can let's hear it.
Okay, fuck it.
The
Prime
Georgians.
Cayes, I think you're really cool, but there's a lot of people in this community, whatever, this kind of corner of the internet, who are super, like a lot of just intellectually dishonest and like straight up like evil people. I'm not like literally like these people who are like defending Lucifer and like creepy shit. Like people have literally said to me that Lucifer's the good one, God's the bad one, when they're like arguing against flat Earth with me and like all this creepy shit. I'm just kind of I don't know, just kind of creeped out by that. There's a lot of just like intellectually dishonest rats.
So do you think there are Satanists properly in my community?
Totally. But the thing is about these Satanists, they don't believe in it. They don't believe in God or Satan. The real Satanists, they like kill kids and they believe in it. These guys, they're a Satanist because they think it's all fake.
Ironic Satanists.
Ironic.
All
The
right.
Catholic Church.
Keep a lookout. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Travis, for caring enough to let me know.
Yeah.
Okay. Katarana.
Hello. I'm Katarana. I've been here a lot of times. This has been a thing. Yeah, I'm still a Globie, and I have different reasons for believing it, such as the satellites that I helped build, and rockets that I helped build, and rovers that I helped build, and research that I work on, and conferences in this area that I go to. Okay, anyways, so yeah, and peer review, mostly peer review.
What?
Hella peer review, bruh. So much peer review, 69 peer review. Beyond that, I guess if I'm doing outro, I'm also gonna be hosting my own little very, very moderated, very big rhetoric debate this upcoming Thursday. It's going to be British parliamentary style. And essentially, what it means is you don't know what the topic is until 10 minutes before you have to go ahead and argue on it, and you don't get to choose which side you're on. So it's all based off of are you rhetorically effective? So fun. Ooh, nya, nya. Okay. And also, I'll be doing probably like a thesis stream next week. And I think we'll also be doing a neurodivergent panel soon. So yeah, that'll be pretty cool. So if you want to go ahead and support any of this type of stuff, and you want to pay for uh, whatever amount of anything I'm gonna have to take after having this conversation, please come over to my channel. And yeah, thanks for sticking around at this time of the night. I know a lot of people, both in probably Prime's community and my own community, stayed way past your bedtime, so go ahead and watch this. So thanks for watching.
The link is in chat for Katarana. Everyone, please go follow her. Love her very much. She's a very valuable member of our community. Thank you so much, Katarana.
Yeah,
Thank you,
yeah.
Travis, for spending some of your time here and
Yeah.
sharing this and educating me.
Yeah.
This has been
Yeah.
this has been
A
an
thing.
experience.
It's been a
Yeah,
thing.
it's been yeah. Well, all right. But anyway, thanks so much, buddy. Yeah, and we'll talk to you some other time.
Oh.
All right.
Bye.
Merci. À tout à l'heure.